Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, Leo King, here for Deep Love Tarot, your weekly love horoscope and reading for the week of July the 5th through the 11th of 2021 here on HighVibe.tv. Make sure that you check us out, HighVibe.tv. All the links are down below for our apps and our website where you get exclusive content, of course, every day. My daily horoscopes, my weekly sun sign horoscopes, weekly intuitive, and all of my other ones. I have so many, about 25 videos a week. Plus, we have so many awesome talent on HighVibe.tv, which you can subscribe to get all the access to about 70 videos a week. Check it out, HighVibe.tv, or subscribe through the apps, Roku, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. And tonight's show, we have a special guest. Annie Parker is in the house, double Scorpio, another sun in the 12th, like me. How are you doing?
I am so good. I'm so excited. I am ready to get this party started.
You should be. I mean, like, I got to say this. I've known Annie a little bit now. She is the real deal. You do readings all the time. Mm-hmm. And you do a lot of clubhouse readings, which I've never even ventured there. And I've been in the room with you. And man, you've done some wild readings. And some of the readings that come through on that is wild. Some of the wildest stuff I ever heard. I just remember texting you when I'm in there like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, people, it's crazy. People come and, I kind of go in and want it to be kind of light and fluffy, like love and money and career and stuff. But like people go all in and it's kind of like, whoa, like this is a free 1 minute rapid fire deal. Like not, you need to call me for this or at least like keep some of this to yourself.
Some of them are like, I'm like, wow, I'm pretty cool with TMI. I could take anything. And I'm like, it's more like unexpected TMI. Like, whoa,
oh, for
I
sure.
can handle anything. But I'm just like, wow, that was the last thing I thought I was going to hear come out of that person's mouth. But it's
Absolutely.
awesome.
And some people want like full mediumship, like right there. And this is like I'm just reading through listening to their voice. So it's like there's a room full of people and you want me to channel the dead. It's like, can like, can we do this in a private space or something? Like,
I was going to say, are these Scorpio problems?
These are Scorpio problems. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Especially, I mean, you are an amazing Reiki healer. That's one thing I got to say that you also do as well. So people know.
Thank you. Yeah. I specialize in cord cutting. So it's a combination of, being a Reiki master, a theta healer, working under a shaman. So I mix in shamanic journeying and just my own channeled stuff with like some tapping. And I kind of just created this ceremony that's so beautiful. And we work together and help people just kind of release the crap they no longer need so they can walk into the stuff that they're looking for,
Well, because I got a session done with you, and it was at a really weird time in my life, and it was like, there's a lot of stuff that you have to go into that space. For those that don't know or maybe have never gone there, I think it's important for people to know that, it takes somebody to help guide you through that and be able to sense what's going on. Mm-hmm. And you help pull it out. It's like pulling the deepest roots out that you don't even know are growing down there and that have been there for a long time. Especially roots and cords are very identical in many ways, and sometimes those things can get twisted in the weirdest directions and you're like, oh my gosh. It's not a scary experience. It's a beautiful experience. And I think I passed out on mine. I usually pass out in Reiki if it's really good. That's how I know it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you absolutely did. And I think it's partly because it's such a safe, loving space. You know what I mean? It's done with unconditional love, with pure safety and just like nourishing. And it's very fulfilling, really. So I'm happy that I got to do that with you.
I mean, you're amazing at it. And my personal thing is doing astrology and tarot. And I've done channeling, of course, for a long time, a little medium work back in the days with John Edward, but it was like, I feel that Reiki to me is like and past life regression is like my place that I go. Like, I don't go get astrology readings. I don't go get tarot readings. Like when I need to like readjust, the two places I go, which are both very similar. I feel like that same space when you're getting a Reiki healing done, when you're actually having the healing done on you, is that same energy of like letting go that you do in a past life regression, like in hypnosis. It's very similar, different, But those are the places that I like to go. Like that's the only place that I feel I do that somebody can really heal me the most is when I'm in that like full surrender space and like full just like,
yeah.
okay, I'm ready to just see what comes up.
Yeah, and both are really the act of calling your power back from a situation, a mindset, you know, and like I'm also divorced, so you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of inner work that goes into forgiving yourself for, you know, whether it's there's something in your subconscious that feels like you made a wrong decision or you failed, or there are like so many things that goes into it that you have to be okay with yourself. It's not all about the other person. So that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but I just wanted to let everybody know that Annie's amazing. You can check her out. I think it's just Miss Annie Parker on Instagram, and you can just type in Annie Parker anywhere on Google and find her.
Yeah.
But she's the real deal, so I'm happy to have you on here today.
Thank you. I'm so excited, and it's funny. You know I'm a projector, and you had randomly said on one of your Deep Love Tarots, if any of the readers in the LA area, and I'm like, that was my invite. I'm going. And
I know, but you know,
right
I was remembering. I already made an invite when you did a reading on me, like, hey, like we need to do work together. So it's not like you went out of your design because I already had made the invite.
You did, absolutely. So I was excited because I felt like that was like my sign to just do it, because you know I was telling Anne even that I've done this work so privately, Scorpio private, for 12 years, that this year was actually the first time I've done it publicly and on social media and all of that. So
well, you blew up on Clubhouse. I'm like, I'm working to you. Like, it's so funny. I'm more of like, I feel like it's very my Scorpio, Mars and Saturn come out when I'm on Clubhouse, because it's like I'm in a room but kind of hidden, and people are trying to make me speakers all the time, and I don't accept it. I'm like, I don't know if I should talk right now, but I like am always on camera, always live, always talking to people. But Clubhouse, I'm always like, I'm always like, ooh, but I kind of like listening in the background.
You get to be voyeuristic a little bit.
It is, and I'm just like, ooh, listen to that thing. I mean, this show's about love, of course, and it was just because I just love to bring up comedy. I was like, oh yeah, Anne, I'm bringing Annie Parker on. She's like, oh, who's that? I was like, oh yeah, look, she's in Clubhouse right now. And so we go in Clubhouse, and I'm like assuming, oh, maybe she's doing a reading in a room, and it was like a room about sex. And I was just laughing so hard because you weren't talking, but there were these speakers in there talking, and they were just like, yeah, I need to be getting it more from that, and you need to be demanding that from that one. I was just like, yeah, well, it's not her, but she's in here. You know?
Yeah, it was
hilarious. It was just so funny. It was just like the perfect moment.
Amazing, because it was a very scorpionic room, but it was a bunch of tantric teachers, basically, like, yeah, they, you know, use clickbait to bring people in, and they do like get very graphic, but it was supposed to be like a very masculine, feminine energy and tantric, you know, tips and things like that. And it does, like, I think they were definitely talking about way more than that.
I think they had a lot of exclamation points and a lot of caps.
Yeah.
And it was like very just like wham. And then I went in there, and the two people that were speaking together, like it was back and forth, you know, they both had their mics on. It was like, whoa.
I think I saw you because it notifies me when you come in,
right.
And I was on stage with these people, and I think I just like spit my drink out when you came in, because I was like, of course he comes in right now.
So funny. Well, this show, I mean, we're going to be looking for love. Of course, if you've never watched the show before, what we do is we're going to be taking a look at the collective, and then we're going to go into all 12 signs, looking at it from the high vibe gold chalice. All 12 zodiac signs are random in here. And Annie and I are going to do the cards, of course, and then throw the astro dice. But before we do that, I just do a quick astrology of what's going on for the collective, and we do a collective reading. So we're going to start with that right now. So new moon and Cancer week. You know, when it comes to love, we all want to feel that comfort in life. And we've got Venus and Mars getting really close. Next week, they're going to meet up in Leo. 2 years ago, when they met up, it was in Virgo. So this is going to be quite different from the last 2 years of your life with love. You know, Venus is at its fall position in Virgo. So not that that's horrible or anything, but if you look at the last couple of years of your life when it comes to love, it's been a lot of picky energy and figuring out a lot, and things almost feeling like they're not in alignment right with our reality and our lifestyle. If you look at the last year and a half, it's not like the world's been turning easy, you know, so that's the weird part is there's just pure creativity and love that's really trying to come out again. It's almost like we've forgotten about how to love. And I think that's an important factor when we look at Venus this week going through a hurricane. It's going to square Uranus opposed Saturn in Aquarius. And this Uranus and Taurus and the Saturn in Aquarius square is really intense because it's teaching us that, you know, yes, there's the battle between maintaining the things that we value in our life, but we got to also move forward with those things while at the same time learning that there are things that we have to disconnect from in order to connect stronger. So, you know, it's funny that Annie does cord cutting, but it's like, to me, it reminds me of like, I don't even know how many plugs to make this set go off, but it's like, sometimes we have plugs just put into a million places and we're putting our energy and it's almost like, it's not getting the power source the best that we can. And when you add this Venus and Leo, it's opposing Saturn. So it's like, oh gosh, it's like there's a block. No, the block is making sure that, one, we have to remember to connect. That's what Aquarius is about. And Leo is about connection too. It's just different. And it's about expression. And with that, Uranus and Taurus is making things really funky because it's like, well, I want to express myself and I'm really stubborn in this one way. But it's like, you can maintain stubbornness. You can maintain your value. You can maintain your sovereignty. But there's also evolution. And I think that a lot of this is about having this new evolution of how we deal with love in our lives, how we connect with others, and remembering that we all don't have everything in the same value systems. And if we can find a way to come together and it's easier, then it's beautiful. There's some people where it's like the gears just don't come together, and that's okay. So it's like remembering also with Neptune retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Pisces, to have compassion and you know, just realize things either flow. Sure, there might be challenges, but that doesn't mean that it's not the worst thing in the world. A challenge is a challenge when it's like detrimental to your life. And I think that this is really about bringing the emotion back into our lives. This new moon in Cancer is not an eclipse like last year during the solstice. This new moon in Cancer does not have Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto opposite in Capricorn, or since 2018 and 2019, Saturn in opposition to it. So into 2020. So this is really a restorative new moon after the last solar eclipse we just had in Gemini a month ago with Mercury retrograde on top of it, which was Mercury retrograde times 1 million. This is interesting that Mercury's out of shadow. It's coming off the square to Neptune, and we're waking up out of what the hell was the last month and a half and coming into a pillow. But I think that a lot of us are going to have to learn to love again and to feel again. And I think that's super important because next week when Venus and Mars do meet up, it does set the tone of what it does look like for the masculine and the feminine and how it comes together in the sign of Leo, of love, and the courage that we must all have for love. Love is something that you have to have courage for because Scorpio always reminds us that everything does come to an end one day. But love is everlasting, and we have to always remember that. And we always have to remember that you have to have the courage to go into love. It's not something that, you know, sometimes we can think it's just supposed to be so easy. But it's really more about whether or not you're really ready for that awesome feeling of love in your life. Or if you're in a relationship and the love's been gone, maybe it's just been the craziness of the last couple of years. And maybe there's these things that are finally coming in the right space this week for you. But you still have to have the courage to bring back that love. Maybe go take out go back on a new date night or try something that you've never tried before. This Uranus energy is trying to really bring spontaneous energy into all our lives with love, with Venus square Uranus. And then opposition to Saturn is to not be afraid, but to integrate. It's an opposition, but to integrate connection in spontaneous time. So do you have anything that you'd like to add that you feel energetically going on?
I think so many people, every time someone comes for a reading, they keep saying they've just felt stuck and stagnant, and I don't even like the word stuck, but just stagnant. And I think this, as much as, you know, we hear Uranus and everyone kind of gets nervous, I think we actually need it. I think, you know, what I was feeling when you were talking is, it's not just like Mercury retrograde where you're going to be hearing from exes. Like you're going to be hearing from people that you didn't really expect to hear from, that you kind of always wanted to reach out, but they never did. Like it's going to be like very different. And even I can almost get the sense that like some people are even going to suddenly have feelings for people they never really thought they'd have feelings for. Someone that was their friend, they always saw them as a friend, then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what's that? You know what I mean? It's something a little new, something different, something that's kind of breaking the mold a little bit and breaking that stagnation. But you absolutely are correct. Like people have to learn how to emote, how to, be intimate, how to like do more than just have sex, basically. Like they're going to have to learn how to be in a relationship, because I think people, especially if they've been alone for a minute, are so quick to be like, oh, well, they're a morning person and I'm not, so this is not going to work out. You know what I mean? Or they're this and I'm not, and this, no. And you find every excuse in the book. My Venus and Virgo finds every excuse in the book. But this is where we have to like check ourselves and be like,
or it's the opposite. Some people can over fantasize too, right? And then it's like that hello. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
They're not that person,
Yeah. So I think this will kind of like shake things up enough for you to kind of see what's what a little bit, and where like you might need to correct yourself a little.
Yeah, I like that you brought up that there's a lot of like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. Mm-hmm. And that could be definitely in the good. And then there's some people who I think, because squares always bring us to points where it's like we're all evolving and we're all going to have a challenging evolution in this, whether we all like it or not. Mm-hmm. But the other half of that would be if, it's like you're continuing trying to make something work that really has not been working at all. And it's like, you don't want to deal with it. And this Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces is very like, oh, I'll just put that on the back burner. I'll just push it under the rug, or I'll just drink another drink.
No, that in itself is stagnant energy.
Yeah. And so this is disrupting stagnant energy in all forms for everybody. Mm-hmm. And if you end up at the end of this and you're like, well, I'm still freaking alone and they fucking told me all this great energy. It's like you have to look at yourself and where was the universe showing up and that you didn't show up. That's one thing that Venus is a gift. It's a gift always of love, and it's also so shows up as a receptive energy. It's feminine. Although it's in a masculine sign of Leo, so it's like express yourself. It also reminds me of like flirting. Like flirting is part of love, and Cancer is part of feeling comfortable. So that can make people a little weird. Like, well, I don't want to come off too strong with Mars and Venus and Leo. And then there's this Cancer energy of people's emotions, and it's sextile to Uranus at the beginning of this week. So there's this like wanting of liberation and freedom, but it's almost like, are you really looking for freedom in all ways and freeing yourself to be able to maybe free yourself of energy that you don't want to be in life anymore, and learn connection? Because that's the ultimate freedom, is the connection to the things the way that you want to be. So I don't know. There's a lot of beautiful aspects to this. And I think Mars taught us a lot last week of like not getting what we want by how we were taking action. Now this is about how we learn to accept with Venus and what that is. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. So let's see. We're going to go right into the cards here. I'm going to see what's going on. First card that we got here is the Six of Pentacles upright. I always call that the crotchety card. Two of Pentacles is our challenge, reversed. And we got the Strength card overall. That Strength card makes me laugh so hard.
Wait, why do you call the Six of Pentacles the crotchety card? I actually kind of like that card.
Well, I mean, I think because it's a card of charity, of course. It's a card of like where, we're giving, we have the ability to give. But there's always somebody on the other side who's not, I don't know, at the same level.
I don't know. I think it's perspective, because I've always kind of seen it as like a nice, balanced give and take. I
think I agree. But in love, that's not an exciting part of a relationship, so I call it crotchety.
It's not toxic.
It's not toxic though, but I always call it crotchety because I love that card because it shows like, really, Ma? Like she's getting gifts and she's been given a vacuum and she's a little girl. Like they're already setting her up, like that here's your give and take. Actually, yeah. So like I always called it crotchety because I'm like, what? Like really? Like I almost feel like, in love right now, the give and take is everything, right? And what really just feels natural in a good space. But with that challenge of that Two of Pentacles reversed, I think it's like stop shuffling so many things around in your own self and have the ability, because the Six of Pentacles, you always see in every tarot deck, that person has everything together enough to be able to do the good work. And I think right now when you're shuffling around your energy too much, or if you're shuffling around people, or you're shuffling around whether you should be in something or not, you're not in a place of whether you can even be in a give or take because you're not connected in there fully. And I think that Strength card there is saying like, hey, like it's very Leo what's going on right now. It's like have the strength to do what feels right for you where you feel that good give and take is. And I know we're going to pull more cards, but it's quite interesting. It's kind of a weird little layout there.
I like weird.
What you got?
You ready?
Yeah, throw it down.
All right. Well, I'm going to do the sexy time spread since we got a lot of divine feminine Scorpio energy over here. So let's see what our collective sexy time energy is. So.
Will you try pushing that autofocus on the droid cam thing so it focuses better?
Whoa. 2 right in my hand. You ready? The Star and the Ace of Cups. That's some nice sexy time energy.
Wow.
Something new, something that's like elevating. Like
it was funny that I was thinking of the Ace of Cups earlier about this whole idea of like coming back to this emotional ground with Cancer, new moon. And it's very new with that Star card. But I feel it's like dried up energy just getting overfilled. It's like we've been in a drought and the drought's gone.
Well, our sexual energy is our creative energy. The drought needs to be gone.
That's true.
That's definitely, that sacral energy needs to be reactivated after a little stagnation. So I'm not mad about that at all. And then, wow. Resurrection. Yep, needs to come back from the dead.
Whoa. Well, it could be like just the resurrection of yourself coming
That's
into
what I mean.
it, right?
Like I was just talking about that sacral energy. It
I
needs to
got
be
7 of Cups. Wow, that's crazy with that card. I wanted to see what we're resurrecting. Our dreams, like, I mean, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of prizes to be had. It's almost like I love the 7 of Cups. I know it can be delusional, but I almost feel like we might need a little bit of that imagination again to resurrect us out of the darkness of like sitting in the coffin and like, oh, my relationship sucks, or I'm single, I'm always alone, or I never find anybody I want. I feel like we have to like let go of that. And there's a guidance there always with the Star card from the divine, and just allowing yourself to surrender to that guidance and follow the signs. I mean, I know people, follow numbers and stuff like that, but there are going to be like little things that like are like guiding us like, hey, look at this. And very shiny with that 7 of Cups. Like, whoa, that's the prize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know. I really like the 7 of Cups because I think, message in a bottle. So messages are coming in from people. Messages are coming in that that's almost like the 8 of Wands, basically.
Right.
So I'm down. I think people maybe have a few different options, but I think also the 7 of Cups is like there are like I was talking about that sacral energy. We need to open up and get that moving again, especially if it's been stagnant energy, because I think there are just like a lot of creative options for us that we're not taking advantage of right now because, people have been feeling quote unquote stuck. So I think that's pretty beautiful.
Messages in a bottle. What is the Astro saying here? Neptune. Which I think is really interesting because I feel like it's very important for us right now to allow our spirit to free ourselves. I feel like this is not a negative sacrifice. I think that this is the sacrifice of letting go of so much of the past, which is really what sacrifice, it's the past. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're coming into a much more spiritual moment in our life, especially with all this Cancer energy, and especially just that message in a bottle too really goes well with that Neptune energy. It's almost like a messages from spirit with the Star card and everything. And even the 7 of Cups, like this is coming from the ether, this really big message and these really big, divine transmissions to like resurrect yourself and fulfill yourself in what you need. I just want to know why in the hell did we get that 6 of Pentacles, the Star card again?
Wow.
That's interesting. What's up with the 2 of Pentacles reversed? 10 of Wands. Yeah, wait things that are just too heavy. I love that 10 of Wands because it's a sumo wrestler trying to screw somebody, and it's like, nope, too heavy. I feel like it's like anything that's just been, it's just too heavy. It's like, you know, and it's not allowing you to feel that energy where it feels, I don't want to say light, but it just feels like it's like, wow, this feels fresh and this feels good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this energy that feels like weighted that's going away, and it doesn't feel like the give and take is proper for the universe to help us if we're in a position to where we're holding on to too much heavy weight. And that strength card energy, we got the 9 of Wands in reverse. I feel like we got to let down our defenses here. I love this card. That little rabbit is totally like defending his position with the sunflowers. But it's like, let the defenses down, but also like, and always have strength to let go of what's heavy. And I think that the way to know if you're shuffling something too much right now, if you're on the fence about somebody right now, and it feels really heavy and it feels like it's a lot of weight to take on, one, ask yourself if it's just you not wanting to do work. But I would say that if it's just feeling like they're too much energy and it's going in a place where it doesn't feel like you can feel like one with the universe, maybe they're not into spirituality too. Mm-hmm. Like I'm picking that up, like, or your spiritual energy, whatever that might be. Like that's what to kind of let go of, because you're going to have to trust, I think, deeply in the spirit right now that the universe is bringing the divine energy really powerfully right now, and you're going to get those messages, but you can't be also holding on to the crap and get the good stuff too.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to be like, this is, like you said, divine transmissions where like nothing else other than someone you can be your full authentic self with, someone that accepts you fully and completely for your authentic self. And you know, I think that's not easy to find, but with Uranus kind of shaking things up, hey, you never know.
Well, I always pull a Ganesha card to see what the heck was going on here. We got prosperity, yeah, big time. But prosperity can sometimes always be looked at as like, well, financial, of course, but it's like, to me, I feel like this is a deep spiritual prosperity of feeling a breakthrough of like, oh, like prosperous energy does exist. Like things can open up. I feel like there's been a lot of energy that hasn't felt very open because we've been, not that the universe isn't opening things up. I think it's actually opened us up really powerfully into a great position in our lives. But the eclipse energy we've gone through and all this wild Mercury retrograde and with the squares to Neptune, and it's like the prosperity is that you've made it to the position to be at this place and to be grateful for this amazing moment. Because if you are, the prosperity is just right in front of you right now, and things will go really, I think, very fast and quick. But just the main thing, I think, is the strength to take it on, which is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. It's like you kind of have an old resurrection of just like the dirt and the dust and the darkness that you don't want to have. And it's about letting that go, because that's so opposite. I feel like prosperity and then like resurrection. I feel like prosperity is like, I'm already at the top of my peak of my prosperous life, and resurrection's like, I was that at one time and I'm having to come back again.
But if we're resurrecting some cobwebs in an area, because that was the sexy time card. So if we're resurrecting a sex life where we haven't had that before, and that could spark creativity, I truly believe with the right divine partners, it actually does bring financial prosperity too. If
it does.
You're with the right partner, there is financial prosperity all around for both people because you help each other become better.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if you resonate with this, but with so many of the readings I've done over the last 10 years, I always, especially I'll use the astrology, but then there's just like, kind of, it's like you see it even with the astrology or tarot. It's like, if you're in a relationship and money's a really big issue constantly, the relationship's not working.
Absolutely. Hands down.
Like it's one of the biggest things. Somebody's not in their prosperity of their self-worth, or the other person's, relying on the other person for their self-worth and so forth. And it's like usually very karmic of like to get you to your prosperous moment in your life. Mm-hmm. Usually it's the relationship where the money's not working right and all that stuff. That's the one that teaches you like the big lesson of like, hey, you learned some great things here, but this is definitely not what the end all be all is. And that one's a hard one though.
Absolutely. But in addition to that, I 100% agree with everything you just said. And when there is not a good flow there of whether it's like, people standing in their power to be prosperous together and partnering together properly, or a nice masculine feminine flow, if there's just not a good flow, period, eventually that's going to wear on your sex life. And that's where you'll start seeing it there, and then it'll start showing up other places, and then it all kind of goes downhill from there.
And then it all just is down.
It all goes down from there.
Well, that's hilarious. The astro dice we got is Mars in the 12th house of Virgo. Wow, that's really crazy. I mean, talk about cutting out reality that's no longer serving and aligning with reality that's spiritually amazing. But anything that's not in alignment with spirit that's become our reality in relationships right now, or I think this is a reminder that you can have a reality that might feel different, but if the spiritual energy is there, it's an adaptable energy that can come together. Roads might not look like they can go down the same path, maybe because of minor little things that Virgo can do. But the 12th house reminds us, if it's divine and it's by God, that we can't see that far down the road and how things come together in beautiful ways. But if you've been on this road a long time and it's just like, which highway are you on? You're pulling out a Thomas guide? Like, I don't know what to tell you on that one. There's definitely people that are going to be on either side of this week. Like, this is karmic endings or karmic new beginnings. Like, it's very, very like the collective is split in those areas. It's going to be pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can just take your cards, but I just take mine and I just chuck all mine to the side, and then I get somebody to pick them all up and put them back in order for me, and I feel bad. I try to do the best I can, but it's like, oh, sorry. Why don't you do the honors of picking?
I'm so excited. Cancer.
Oh, happy birthday! I know. Woo! I feel like Cancers have been getting a lot of love aspects lately.
What do you do with these after you're done?
Oh yeah, I just let them sit where the Leo is, where it poops them out. Unless it's the Leo sign, then it's like it puts it as the crown. Like, Leo's the best. Everybody else is just like
Scorpio will go in there too.
Okay, I have Scorpio, so I'm cool with that. All right, what did I just want to say happy birthday to you Cancers out there. I feel good about you all lately, and I know that you all have went through a lot, and I know you all dealt with my horoscopes being like, relationships. Having the transit you did in your 7th house was not easy, but it's your 8th house now, so we got to go to the deep stuff now. Your first card is the Chariot upright. That's my favorite. That's my card. I love that card. And you got the 3 of Cups reversed as your challenge, and your overall here spiritual advice is the 9 of Cups upright. Wow, you got some great cards there, even with that reversal. I'm feeling you're literally like, if anybody's moving in the most amazing direction right now, it's you, Cancer. Now, whether that's leaving or going into something, I feel that this is not a time to get distracted from a beautiful situation. That 3 of Cups reversed to me is always a distractive energy of like, I don't know why my guides are showing me this. It's almost like you found someone good. It's all amazing. It's going so good. And then it's like, well, maybe I need to go to this distracting energy with my friends to do this crazy thing and just make sure or something. It's like, I feel like there's this 9 of Cups that's the spiritual advice is like, look at what amazing thing you have. Spirit's guiding you on the most amazing new journey out of the old. The Chariot always leaves the city that has figured everything out and is like, okay, the universe, the magician's wand, the Cape of Stars, the Sphinx, there's no reins. The universe is guiding you in the right direction. And I almost feel like there's some weird thing here, or maybe the person you're dating has got a little party thing that they can't let go of. But I think it's like being still positive about it. I don't think there's a bad reading. I think it's just like there's some distractive energy that maybe you shouldn't be putting so much into, and looking at the benefits of just such a great new story and new direction things are going. What are you picking up on that?
I don't don't know. I think they need to move forward a little faster. Like, I feel like there's like you said, they're getting a little distracted. It's like they're moving forward, they're getting their wishes fulfilled, and then like as they're getting ready to have their wishes fulfilled, they're like, yeah, getting distracted, and they're like, oh, pretty bird, and then like getting off track a little bit, and it's like just put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. You're almost there. That was sloppy.
I'm very sloppy. I drop cards every day on High Vibe. I'm like, I always drop cards at this one task.
All right.
But that means you're shuffling them.
I know. Mine get crazy.
Girls can do that. Like, and I know like Minopon can shuffle good. I can't. I'm just like, I feel like just like the old dude that shuffles random. What'd you get there?
Page of Wands. I always see pages and I'm like, all right, fuck boys, whatever.
That's interesting that you look at it that way.
I do.
It's kind of like just slipping into your DMs page, especially Page of Wands is kind of like, hey, sexy, like with a gif of like, what up?
Barf. Like literally barf.
Look at that barf energy. Barf. I'm not one to just be like, yo.
Yeah. No, but that Wheel of Fortune I like. It's like you could turn it around. You know what I mean? Like stop effing around.
Maybe you got to pay attention to the DMs just a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
it's offering. It's definitely like, hey, it's definitely flirting too, and it's like divine flirting.
It's apparently flirting with good manners. So make sure if you're gonna slide into the DMs, you do it politely.
That is true. What does this card say? It says thoughtful, polite, good manners, courtesy. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was like what I was saying earlier about this Leo and Cancer energy, almost feeling like, okay, like, yeah, I like really want to flirt, but like, oh, there's emotions there and you don't want to make people feel unsafe. You don't want to make, right now, especially Cancer, I almost feel like something so exciting is going on, but maybe you know it and you're distracting yourself because you just don't want to deal with that there's some manner issues going on or a little abrupt energy, even though you got to find out where it's going to turn. That Wheel of Fortune, you can't try to control it. Like, don't be worried that it's going to go on bankrupt, but don't keep distracting yourself from it. I almost feel like a little boundary crossage for some reason. And I'm feeling the distracting energy is like it's okay to just like say what you need and not be afraid to be mannered back and be like, hey, I kind of don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you literally, as you said, they know, like you were saying, like they in that process, deep knowing, they know exactly what they want, they know exactly what they need. You need to be able to communicate it. You can communicate it politely, properly, with courtesy. But, if you're reaching out to someone for the first time, you can do it politely. Don't WYD anybody, please.
What are you doing? I got the moon reversed. And that was, to me, it was like the suppression thing. Like, that was what I was feeling like. Don't suppress this. But I'm glad I'm with the Scorpio here. I've got a feeling there's something a little up with this person you're thinking about that's not bad, but also there's something that you need to get to the bottom of here that that they're not revealing emotionally. It's like they're showing it's Aladdin becoming, Prince Ali and not showing that he's Aladdin or something, like there's something. It's great, but it's like you got to get to the bottom of it and see if it really is something that you can deal with, or if the issue is where are they repressing emotions that you know about, and that's actually not courteous to you at all, because if this thing's going to be so amazing right now or continue to be amazing, you can't deal with suppressed emotions. You can't deal with somebody who's hiding some sort of weird emotional thing. I'm going to pull the Astro Tarot, and I got the part of Fortune, which is so weird that there is that energy with the Wheel of Fortune. But that part of Fortune is a very emotional bodied position, part of it, because we use the part of Fortune with the moon and then we erase the sun. And then it's like when we do the part of Spirit, we erase the moon and get the sun. So it's a moon based thing. And so the moon reversed with this part of Fortune and then that Wheel of Fortune. And that Page of Wands, it's like, I almost feel like, is this person really emotionally embodying what they're broadcasting? Is it more of a show or is it real?
In Cancer, you are the moon. Like, you're so intuitive, literally. But this is one of those times where I feel like you're letting your emotions and your like for the person like override any red flags. And we all do that when we want love, right? But you're definitely you're letting your emotions just kind of override any red flags that you're seeing about, like, you know, them not being truthful with their emotions or them hiding, like whatever it is, you feel it in your gut, you know it, there's a deep knowing, but you're kind of like overlooking it. So
I think that you called it out better than that's what I was trying to get to, is like, you just can't just allow somebody to like just get away with just something that actually is more of a show. I feel like it's just it's more of a that Page of Wands is very showy, because it's always like, let me present the princess with I am the best prince in the land, like, you know, like, and I've got the king's signature on it. It's very Page of Wands, but it's like, you don't know what's going on in that kingdom fully until you go there. And I feel like you're going into deeper waters now, and you're gonna pick up some stuff, and you already knew it. And when it shows up, it doesn't mean, I think that Nine of Cups is saying like, hey, don't be afraid. Like, there's positive energy everywhere. But I think it's about how well they can deal with those things is going to be how well you know. And that's fortune in itself. The emotional knowing of what's going on and how somebody deals with their emotions.
absolutely, yeah, like literally that Page of Wands is the dude on Instagram that takes photos with really fancy cars that he does not own. Like none of them are his.
Getting little scrubs. Like, I love talking about scrubs. I was a scrub in high school, you know what I mean? This is the friend of my passenger's ride, of my best friend's ride. Trying to holler at chicks.
Well,
what does good old Ganesha here say? Generosity. This is very...
I know, but I think Cancers can be a little too generous with...
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they can be a little too generous with their emotions when they like someone. You know, they can be a little slow moving as far as what I've seen, but they are very generous with their emotions. They put it all out there. They kind of put it on their sleeve. And then if you've got someone that's just kind of like showboating and not really returning what you're putting out, you know,
it almost feels like it's like so close to having that foundational like rooted connection, but they're not rooting fully yet. It's almost like, why aren't they rooting? Like, everything's going so well, but there's something not rooting, and you're being generous enough to keep that space in your garden wide open, and you're like, root, damn it. I'm gonna pull a shadow card. It's their birthday, so
it is.
Ride in a cage.
What? Ride in a cage. Wow.
I'm going to go check that camera when you go talk about that. I'm going to try and fix that overhead camera.
So I've never even seen this deck before, but yeah, Cancer is like, oh, I love you. It's your birthday. Don't settle just because, yeah, it's birthday season. We always want someone, right? Like for our birthday month, we want to be able to go on a date, do fun things. But if you're not kind of receiving back what you're putting out there, or if your intuition's telling you that like there's a little red flag or something's not connecting emotionally or they're not giving emotionally, you know, it's, you know, we do need that reciprocal energy, right? We need that reciprocal energy. We need to be able to have an equal give and take. So let me see, because I mean, I do love the Chariot. That's you moving forward. The thing is, you're going to move forward with or without this person, because you'll find somebody else. Okay. Yeah, this person is Four of Pentacles. That's my stingy card. Whoever you're dealing with is being stingy with their energy, stingy with their emotions, and you don't really need to deal with that. So, you know, I don't want to tell you what to do, but if I were you, if I were a Cancer right now, I would really assess what my gut is telling me and really you need to honor your gut right now. You got the moon card, but it's in reverse. You're not honoring your gut. So yes. All right. I have not pulled. I did, but we'll pull one more of these while David is checking something. Cancer, we're just going in on you. So, yeah, and you're ready. You're ready. You got the poised card. It fell. I'm not going to grab it right now, but you got the poised card. Like, you're poised and ready for real connection, for a relationship, and that's so beautiful. But you have to make sure that you're getting like the energy and the emotion back from that connection. Otherwise, it's gonna, you know, we were talking in the beginning about the energy being so stagnant the last couple months. If you're trying to make this work with someone that's not giving you like full emotion or full energy back, for whatever reason, you know what I mean? People can give you not give you emotion or not give you energy because they need to do more self-work. You know, there could be a third party situation. We don't really know. That Three of Cups was in reverse, so they could be playing the field. You know what I mean? Let me grab a clarifier on that Three of Cups in reverse, because yeah, if you're dealing with someone that's not giving you full emotion and energy, there could be a third party situation. Let me see. Back, we got the World card. I clarified the Three of Cups in reverse and got the World card. So
That's very distracting out there in the world. You know what? You might be getting an offer from somebody else, and that's what you're contemplating.
Yeah, because I was basically telling them, like, I really, if I were them, I probably wouldn't be wasting my time on someone that my gut knows, like, isn't giving me the emotion and the energy.
What'd you get with that Bride in the Cage?
That, I was talking so much, I don't remember what I said now. But,
I want to find out what's up with that. Seven of Swords. I don't know. That moon reverse, that's right in the something looks so good, but there's somebody's got to come clean. Sometimes it's you, Cancer. Maybe you're still talking to somebody else and it's really good, and you're on the fence and you're talking to somebody else and you got to come clean, or they are. Yeah. Somebody's got to come clean here, or you're going to find something else and you already know. And it's like, don't act surprised when you already knew, when you were seeing them liking that other person's shit on Instagram and commenting with hearts. And you're like, oh, that's just their friend. Something's up.
Yeah.
There's definitely more. It's not red flags, but there's yellow flags. And I feel like sometimes if it's building to be a relationship, it's like, okay, just like, let's learn this moment of like where we come clean with things so we can make the relationship really go beautifully. But if you can't be that, then what happens a year down the road or 2 years down the road? Now it's 3 people. Now it's that person was 4 or whatever. It's like, you're going to have to see that you have amazing, beautiful things, but there's definitely some things that are underground or hidden that you know about that you maybe are too afraid as a Cancer, too sensitive to bring up at the moment. And then you're distracting yourself, and, you know, you got to be honest, or you got to be just honest with whoever you're dealing with, that maybe you feel like it's awesome, but you don't feel like they're going to the place energetically, emotionally where you need it to go. And you just need to be clear about that and maybe it's a misrepresentation. And maybe they're like, oh, you know what? I was too afraid to be that way. Thank you for letting me know. Like, that Seven of Swords doesn't mean always lies. It can just mean misrepresentations of things too.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and be polite about it when you do voice your opinion.
That's very true.
But I also, since that was a sexy time card, I did date a Cancer that was like always a little bit too polite about everything. And I was like, oh man, could you just like...
Well, I mean, yeah, and like, instead of pulling your hair, it's like, oops, sorry, I bumped into your arm. Like, what did we get here, Cancer? You got, is that Gemini or second house? That's Gemini. Gemini's part of fortune. Wow. And you got that in the first house. Oh, you got, your fortune's in doing some logical communication and investigation into your needs and making sure that you're communicating them and figuring out what isn't that you're getting? So that's where the real fortune lies, is you getting to the bottom of data and information that you don't have yet, but you have to have the courage and the strength. And that Chariot, that card is always leaving what was and going to what is now and taking off, and the universe will take you there. So let the universe guide you by you allowing the universe to drive you into what you need to figure out.
I love that.
You know, like I love the Chariot, especially in that deck. I mean, it's like, come on. It's like, you don't want to go hang out with Johnny Depp and hang out with all the stuff in the trunk? Like, I don't know. You know, it's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you know, like there is that whole like get out of Dodge kind of energy. And then it's on the Rainbow Road track in Mario Kart. Like there's a little bit of that awesome energy going in a direction, but sometimes you take too much of that generosity and you took too much acid and now you're seeing fucking reptilians at the fucking bar. That scene always got to me. Always like, oh, he's like, oh, and he has a cigarette in his mouth. He's like, oh, what? I was like, oh, I've been there before. I'm gonna pick right now. What do we got here? We got Leos.
Leo.
Cancers. Let me put that there, right there. All right.
Let's see.
It's Leo time in a couple weeks. So Leo, you do got Venus in your sign. Use this attractive moment and use this Mars in your sign. A lot of eyes on you, Leo, but like you got to be making sure things fit into your life, right? But also you don't want to be too crazy nitpicky. You got to surrender too. So don't act like you don't want the attention. Magician reversed with a person doing blow. Knight of Pentacles reverses the challenge. And we got the Three of Swords as the overall. Wonderful.
Well, that's fun.
Woo! Wonderful. I actually think that this is good. I feel like, Leo, there's two stories. You can continue to think that you don't have it. You don't have the magic. Knight of Pentacles reverse feels like there's nothing happening. You're stuck on the road and nothing physically manifesting, that you don't have your magic. And the outcome would be, yeah, you're heartbroken and that's all in your mind. Or you finally step into your magic. You realize that you got stuck not being magical and you get rid of the heartbreak. That's not really a heartbreak. Three of Swords to me is the most funny. We always associate it with heartbreak and tarot, but it's like, it's a sword. It's like a mental idea of the heartbreak. It, like, to me, I always feel like heartbreak to me is more like a Five of Cups or, you know, like a deeper emotional, like real situation. I feel like this is you turning around a lot of your own, like, ideas about relationships and love around and realizing you're not stuck, but you are when you don't sit into remembering that you have so much power, Leo, from the divine to this reality, and that you're the conduit. And that's what the Magician card is. It understands that we as humans are the conduit from as above as below. And you might be a heartbreaker by having to let go of energy right now that's not magical for some. For others, it's just like, I think this is you. We're going to have to find out more, because this is definitely going to be more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for the most part you are doing it to yourself, because the Hierophant and the Empress.
Wow. Like
I think that's Leo's kind of doing it to themselves, not standing in their own magic or recognizing the magic in others sometimes. Mm-hmm. And like you said, that Three of Swords is kind of like self-created. It's not even necessarily real. Like I think that, you know, sometimes Leos are either, I think they can be like, well, I'm not necessarily like a traditional person in this sense, that like this doesn't work out for me, so I can't do it. But like literally you can create your own tradition. you can create your own tradition, and you can create your own idea of what a traditional relationship looks like. Like literally, you guys, it's showing you as the creator, you can create your ideal relationship. You just have to find someone that's like down and open to create with you.
Yeah, and you also got to get over your own stubbornness. I feel that Knight of Pentacles kind of likes sometimes when it's reversed to be stuck and use it as a good story. You're not going to reel in love by being in a, I'm troubled and I need help and I'm heartbroken. I'm not magical. That doesn't attract shit. That attracts cockroaches. So, but I feel like it's also funny that you pulled the Hierophant and the High Priestess because they both follow after each other and both deal with belief systems and spiritual beliefs. And so a lot of this, Leo, is like definitely not only mental, but also like the beliefs that you kind of set and setting yourself to a higher vibration of belief sets. Because that Empress to me is like, gosh, that is, like you said, what a creative force. And also a vibe that knows its power, especially another person. You've got to step up with that as the magician in yourself right now, because the Empress ain't gonna give you nothing if you ain't the magician. Like,
death rights. Death to your old self, your old ideas, whatever you thought a relationship was supposed to be. Like, goodbye.
that's exactly that was exactly what this was going about. I want to see why that card. Yeah, look at the Emperor reversed. But you know what? I think that this is good. I think that this has been a moment for you, Leo, of getting rid of a lot of your ego shit and purging a lot of that. And even though it feels like you're down in the dumps because of that, you've shed off a layer of skin that was too old anyway. So the positive in this is that, you know, maybe you've lost your strength and determination the way you have, but there was attachments to that were going after love, not from a divine, more beautiful Empress way, and allowing things to kind of purge themselves out here. But still, the Magician and the Emperor reversed is like, step into your magic and do that. But it's a refreshed new way of doing about it. And that Knight of Pentacles, just to me, is always about get, you know, it reminds me of Batman. It's like, you know, when Alfred picks him up out and he goes, why do we fall? So we can pick ourselves back up. And I feel like that's what this is about, picking yourself back up and just moving. You don't have to run. I think that might be the problem with Leo. It's always like, I got to get back up and I got to be exactly to where I was at one time or something. You don't even want to go back to where you were at one time. This is a whole new, exciting moment for you to just be like, hey, comfortable in yourself in a magical moment. And whatever the pace is, that comes is the pace. The horse, you don't want to outrun the horse after it's been sitting for too long.
And a leg up. You're actually farther along and closer to your goal than you think you are. And that's the thing that kind of goes back to, you know, the self-imposed Three of Swords. It's like, you know, sometimes you have to stop and recognize that you're actually like a lot farther along in your journey and closer to what you really desire than you think.
Yeah, and because if you're already a leg up, that Magician reverse, that Knight of Pentacles reverse with that Three of Swords is don't take on somebody who is not in their magic, who is stuck in their life, and try and rescue them in your leg up position. That's not an Emperor. That's an Emperor reversed. That's not a Hierophant. That's not an Empress. Like, I almost feel like, Leo, you could go down the wrong road by trying to take on an energy that's like, I'm just going to say it. It's almost like some just somebody who just got out of just like extreme trauma. And I'm not going to say dark, but I almost feel like it's just somebody who's like, because that Magician reverse is somebody that's doing a lot of blow, okay? Which is funny in this deck. I love this deck. This is the Badass Tarot deck if you want to find it online. And there's something about drugs or like that shade of life where it's like things aren't really going that good for somebody, and it's like, but they're attractive to you maybe, or you think you can fix them and bring them a leg up with you. You can't make a hoe a housewife.
I was going to say, they call that Captain Save a Hoe.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Or save I don't know, what do girls call dudes that are in that space? Like a fucking guap?
A bum?
Oh, bum.
I don't really know.
What's the term, Maya, that would be like a dude who's like a piece of shit in the millennial world? Fuck boy?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be captain, save a fuckboy.
Yeah, South Node. Whew. This is definitely, I would say the red flags here, Leo, is going into easy situations thinking that they'll become great. Like something that's either easy or somebody that's not in their magic, and you're like, you don't want to go through a karmic like debt situation. You're a leg up. This is not to fall. Also, South Node deals with our imagination that's like totally off. And it also deals with where we are. It's like a crutch. Like, don't be looking at people as crutches.
Yeah, and I actually, because I didn't really pull a sexy time, you know, because like it's not really sexy time when it's the Hierophant and the Empress. So I did pull one, and we got the World card again after shuffling and clearing and everything else. So, I mean, when it comes to sexy time, you got the World card. You know, the person that you share your energy with, like, really needs to be someone that you would want to share your world with. So don't just be going out and...
Yeah, like if I had somebody doing blow here on the same table after Deep Love Tarot, it's with the Hierophant, it's almost like it's like sacrilegious in many ways, you know, like don't be taking on energy of your precious kingdom and throwing in Chaz and Seattle into the kingdom. For real.
Yeah.
I want to pick a card with that. What was that? Like you're on your higher.
The leg up?
The leg up. And I got the Six of Swords, which is so interesting because it's literally like instead of you moving somebody else along onto a better place, you're going to a better place. And you got to be really aware of who you're bringing with you to this better place. Like, you're not here to bring somebody else to a better place. Like, you're here going to a better place. Somebody else is in the right energy with you, and you almost feel like you're coming out of like a bad place. I love that card because there's a nuclear bomb explosion going off, and it's like, okay, let's get out of here to a better spot.
Yeah.
And not falling in that trap there. The Ganesha card that we got here is clearing your energy. Yeah, I feel like it's more like stay cleared energetically from energy that is not clear and good for you, because there's something that could be very tainted that's an offer coming your way, and it's like, are you gonna go down that road? I'm gonna get real deep since you didn't go on sexy time. A dirty person, like somebody who's just dirty, and you're kind of like, maybe.
Wouldn't hurt for just one night.
Exactly. I'm not even joking, especially with that Three of Swords there. You could be falling for the trap, like, I'm just alone and I don't have anything, or my partner sucks, but I don't know. You know, I love all people, so I don't judge strippers, but it almost would feel like you're at the strip club and then they're like doing blow and they're like, you want to have a good time tonight? You know, it's kind of like, do you really need that in your energy right now?
I think, you know, between the Hierophant, the Empress, the World, like, you got a lot of good things going on, you know what I mean? And you might not be seeing them all, but you got a lot of good things going on, and you don't need any kind of lower vibrational energy taking you out of that space, because like the leg up said, you're actually you're in a lot better place than you even think you are, and you're on a really good path. So, I mean, I would just make sure, keep that energy clear, make sure you're only surrounding yourself with people on the same path as you, high vibe, and I mean, that's...
And maybe look at your own South Node in the sign. Like, it's like, maybe don't go near that sign of your South Node. Leo, you know? Like, no. I'm pulling a shadow because we're dealing with shadow shit. Oh, it's To be or not to be, that is the question. Or those colorless angel. Yeah, that's the exact energy of the person I was feeling.
What is it?
Colorless angel. Like,
yeah.
She just got her shot and...
Oh my God, stop. Stupid.
No, she just got her shot of, colorlessness in life. And she's not, he or she is just like, it looks like she's having a bad hangover. I felt that.
Strung
like
out.
toxic. It's strung out. It's strung out. It's the best word. And it's like that. I'm not going to lie, but I was maybe I still, but more when I was younger, I kind of always wanted like a trailer trash girl. I thought that was hot.
I mean,
I think it was just because Brittany Murphy and Spun just looked so hot. I don't know. But it's like kind of like Brittany Murphy and Spun. God bless her soul. She was the most amazing
also a
Scorpio
Scorpio
of all time. I know.
Yep.
But I'm just saying that, like, no, maybe you want to stay away from that kind of like somebody's just really low. And it's like that's you attracting it because you're looking at love low and energetically. So a cockroach is showing up. And you don't have to have that. But I'm just saying, like, that's what to stay away from because there's too many good things. And it's a reminder from Spirit big time.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
I don't know. I've never been with a cockroach yet. Maybe this week. We got the 6th house, Scorpio, Mercury. So yeah, I feel like, wow, Mercury and Scorpio. I think that, you know what? It's like you got to be honest with yourself about what's pure and what's not pure, and you're able to sense it automatically. This fits in my life and is pure, or this is not. Don't get all 6th house and be like, well, let me go deeper to see if it's pure when you're going through layers of literal filth.
Yeah. You get all this advice and you turn around and say, maybe I'll try a cockroach this week.
I know, I agree. I'm just like, that was fun. That would be interesting.
Leo.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember I was on LSD once, and I was at a club, and I remember like there was a bunch of people on the dance floor, and you're supposed to only take one hit of that shit from Santa Cruz. Took 2, and I remember I was like, it wasn't on purpose either. My buddy's like, oops, and I'm like, well, fuck. So the next thing I knew, people were turning into bugs. Actually, it's so funny. I was just talking about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but I was able to see who were bugs energetically and who weren't. Sag, are you a bug?
Saggy.
Sagittarius have a major week in their astrology for relationships. So I just want to put that out there because Mercury is your relationship ruler, 7th house Gemini. And if you're a Sag rising too. And what's interesting is this is the last time Mercury in Gemini is going to be with the North Node for 18 years. And it just went through its retrograde and it's coming out of shadow. So if there's any sign right now getting the ultimate truth about relationships, it's Sag or Sag risings right now. Big time. And don't try and act like, oh, I already know. No, you don't know. You are not willing to look at your knowing. You got to look at some deep, deep truth and be honest with yourself. And this is a big week. So let's see what's going on for these Sages. They're the only zodiac sign with Mercury coming out of its shadow and with the North Node that rules their relationship. So, Page of Swords, upright. 10 of Swords reversed is your challenge. And you got the 8 of Cups reversed. Oh, wow. I love tarot so much and love readings. My favorite is when I see 8 of Cups reversed. I always am like, who the hell are you not still letting go of yet? Oh, you left, but now I'm coming back. Now I don't know. Page of Swords is almost feeling like, I don't know. This is communication with like something that you still have not. This 10 of Swords reversed in the challenge position is some pattern that just won't end of going in and out and going in and out and not in the good way, or maybe it's good. I don't know. But there's definitely this in and out energy. And it's almost like, after so many times, you're still excited again about it. It's like...
Step off the hamster wheel.
Wow, yeah.
Step off the hamster wheel. It's not fun. Like, learn your lesson the first time. Even the first 2 or 3 times would be good. Like, 7 of Wands. And the Justice.
I want to hear your take on this.
This is interesting because I almost think Sagittarius gets so comfortable where they're at, and they're just like, they stay in these weird karmic things because they just like they kind of like have a little guard up and don't really let anyone really fully get to know them anyway, or at least they're not right now. So they kind of like, it's almost easier for them to stay in these like weird karmic things that aren't working out. Is it safer if you know it's not going to work out? Like, it's safer for you? You feel more comfortable when you know it's just like going in a cycle? Or is it more fun for you? It's a little more adventurous to break it off, get back together, break it off, get back together, because you need a little adventure in your life. So.
Well, and I think this Justice is here to go, let's go to the courtroom and look at all the evidence here. And that 7 of Swords or of Wands will stand its ground no matter what and be like, I am valored and I am standing my ground. I have the upper hand. And I think that you just want to like go into this like more beautiful essence of real harmony and hold the line for harmony by looking at data and truth of evidential truth and weighing the evidence out. Because I feel like instead of just trying to continue to fight for position, to feel like you're doing the right thing to save something of the relationship or to give somebody justification for what they are or what is going on, because that 8 of Cups reversed is always somebody like, well, I'm gonna go take a look there again. Again with 10 of Swords reversed in the shower. I feel like, wow.
Yeah.
I almost feel like this is like this holy moment. It's a holy moment. That Justice card you have is so beautiful. Of true tranquility and peace, that really, that 7 of Wands and Justice, really the only justice that you should be giving as 7 of Wands is the valor of justice itself and true tranquility. And I feel like that's an issue right now, that you're trying to, it's like the O.J. Simpson trial that was just on television just for a year and a half. Like, I just like feel like it's just kind of like, oh, well, the glove don't fit, don't quit, like.
Yeah. And, what you're really looking for, what you're craving, what you're needing is something organic. Like, we got the card natural and it says organic, you know what I mean? But, you can't force something by keep going back and trying to make it work, if it's just like, not working. It's like trying to square peg, round hole, you know what I mean? Let it be organic, let it be natural, let it be easy. It's okay for things to be easy.
I was going to say, I want to find out if this is like long term or if this has been like, like 2021. I got the Queen of Cups in reverse. I almost feel like it's energy that's, it could be both, but I feel with the Queen of Cups reversed, it almost kind of feels like it never has had true emotional like comfort and love. It's like almost the high of the drama and the emotional like way of just like neediness. That you just keep coming back to this because it's trying to fill something that you can't fill. And maybe it's like even trying to fill something from a X beyond that through somebody else that you'll never know, go back to, or you never address those issues and you're just doing it through this person now. Because I almost feel like it's like you're trying to resurrect in this beautiful way, and give justification. And that Page of Swords is very like, just stimulate, like quick stimulation, like the quick hit, like, oh yeah. It's like a quick hit energy.
Here and now. It's only the here and now. It's not.
That answers the question.
Yeah.
It's whatever you're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
It's not some, thing way from the past. It's really who you're dealing with right now, that it continually is not Queen of Cups reversed to me in love, especially. It's kind of sad. It really is like where we feel nurtured, and this is like not nurturing. It's nurturing in like. It's nurturing in this. I feel like my guys are showing me like telling your friends like, no, what are you talking about? Like, they're good. Like, I'm good. Like, it's like nurturing through defending justice. Like, it's good. Trust me. But it's like everybody else is seeing the pattern. And I almost feel like you need a hug from your friends.
Yeah.
So you can like stop trying to like that. Seven of Wands to me is very forceful with the justice, like forcing the court to make your choice. Like it's a really strung out lawyer. Like,
yeah, and I mean, you need to take a good look at people where they're at right now, not where you want them to be. Like, I think, when we keep going back to people, we're hoping for something different every time we go back, right? And you have to take a look at where they are right now, not where you think they will be down the road. Like, it's right now. So if you've done this a couple different times and you've seen no progress, no change, take a look at it right now, because that's probably where it's going to be down the road too. Because like, it just, I don't know. I don't believe in the going back, but.
Yeah. And that fourth house roots card came out for the Astro. So it's like, I don't know. If you're living with this person, it's probably dramatic. But if you're thinking about living with this person or something, like, does it really feel rooted enough to really like, and if you think that's going to save it, that's not what you don't ever want to move in with somebody because you think that'll save the whole situation. Like that, like you move in because it's like, oh my God, we're so in love. I can't wait to just only be like with you all the time. Not like, oh, like, yeah, like, maybe that'll save it. It's like having a baby to save it too. It's fourth house, Cancer. There's a lot of energy, which Cancer is your eighth house. So it's like, you're going to have to like face the dark shadow stuff going on. And you're going to have to also look at if you're really being fully satisfied and you're receiving everything that you deserve.
That actually just reminded me too, if you're staying just for the toxic sex, please stop it.
Wow.
Since we're talking about eighth house.
Toxic emotional sex that doesn't even fulfill except for a quick hit. And then once it's happened,
yeah, cause,
it's like, it's gone. It's like,
yep. And I just pulled the sexy time card and you said having a baby with someone, moving in with someone won't save it. Got the Empress. Again.
Oh no.
Right. So
that's like an oh no.
Yeah. Be careful because she's the mother.
Yeah, are you ready to have a baby with this person? And not so much about just the responsibility and stuff, but are you ready for that person to come through the baby that you're going to have together and that energy?
Yeah.
And if you were to have the baby right now in Cancer, and if you were to go 9 months down the road into this, you'd be having a baby in like Pisces time with Neptune there, and it'd be a lost baby. The Ganesha card that we got here is Embrace. You look at, I said they needed a hug. It's so funny that card's like got that embrace. I almost feel like the big test is like, is this a really embracing situation, or is this just like the idea that it's embracing, but it's not true embrace of love and positivity and hope and great embracement? I almost feel like that's what you're looking for, but it's like an embrace lasts forever, opposed to we embrace and then I come back around and then I come back around and then they come back around. Like that's not very embraceful. And like, how much does each hug actually feel like love? Like it almost feels like, good to see you again. Pop the fucking bottle of this and let's get back to that place,
I feel like they definitely need a shadow card.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like getting so many downloads, and I'm like, oh wow. And is this really me? Is this me? And it's, I love that one. It's like, is this me? It's like, whoa, what happened? what happened? The shadow is asking yourself, like, through relationships, there is the window of the mirror that we are two people. And I feel like this is asking yourself, like, is this really me? Is this who I really am? Is this what I've chosen to be?
Yeah, and when we get into toxic relationships, even ones we're comfortable in, there is an element of when you're not with the right person, you start to lose a little bit of your power. You start to lose a little bit of yourself. And sometimes you really can become unrecognizable after a relationship like that.
Totally. Their astro dice are, you got the first house, you've got Venus there, and you got it in Libra. Wow, okay. Woo! Venus and Libra in the first. That's really weird. I mean, this kind of goes with that is this me card. And I feel like, yes, relationship energy is very intense, but you have to make sure that this is an identification of yourself and that they understand the identity of who they are, that it really is an equal match. Annie did pull that justice card. I feel like this is really making sure that things are fair and balanced on your end, that you need to pay attention to more to find the beauty and harmony, because Venus hates the first house. That's Aries home, and that's where it's at its detriment. So there's an element of like, okay, maybe you're just looking at this as just getting what you want, opposed to really the deeper version of Venus and Libra. And the first would be getting what you want through harmony and through full, real, true companionship. And I got a big feeling that it's almost like, okay, you might be getting what you want, but you're not really getting what you want. You're getting the basics. You're not getting the bridge that connects a union. Like it almost feels like a fake union energy.
Yeah. And no matter who you're with this week, unless you really want a baby, use protection.
I think abstinence in this case with this person is the best course. You don't want them shedding their own weird stuff. I got it. We got cappies. Get those caps ready. I'm picking a new deck. We're going a little bit darker with the Vampires deck to match with you are with Les Vampires. I think it's French. I don't read French well.
I love it. You said Anne got you that deck?
No, it's her deck. She just brought it and was like, hey, use it. And I was like, okay.
Thank you, Anne. I am loving this deck. I
was
need
like,
the name of it.
I know. I showed it to you and I was like, oh, Scorpio, look at that.
Absolutely. This is a pure Scorpio deck. And especially since I was going to be doing the sexy time pull, this looked like a sexy deck.
We got, the King of Pentacles in reversed here. Capricorn. We got the Six of Wands reversed as your challenge, and we got the Emperor upright as your spiritual advice and overall here. Well, I think this one's pretty simple. I think victory is everything for Capricorn in life, but when it's reversed here, you might be spinning your wheels still trying to find a victory. Like, oh, wait, I need to keep going out there. I haven't found it yet. And I feel like this King of Pentacles reversed with this Emperor upright is like, the advice is to move forward with what you want instead of what doesn't feel abundant. I feel like there's something here about a deep question on whether or not you feel like you're staying in something because of the amount of work you've put in or the amount of energy you've put in, but you haven't got the results that you want. And it's like, well, I'll take that as the victory. I've put in a lot of hard work, but I almost feel like it's like, we're going to find deeper, of course, but I just feel like there's something that it's like, are you really owning because you did a lot of work? That's great. But, and still like not leading to something, and an Emperor going with this as all the work would almost feel like it wouldn't be able to stay on the throne long.
Mm-hmm. And you actually need to, Capricorns can get so in their head and be about work, and they're very cerebral. And I actually pulled the Six of Wands upright, but the High Priestess came out first. So in order to get to your victory, you need to tap into that that Pisces, that dreamy, that intuitive energy, because it's not going to be the work that gets you the victory. It's literally going to be like the more spiritual aspects, the more energetic aspects. Like, what kind of energy are you bringing to the table? Are you just doing work and have it being very, I'm feeling like very love language acts of service, which is actually my love language. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, sometimes it's kind of missing that emotional part, that really like deep spiritual, like all knowing, you know what I mean? I don't even have a word for it.
Yeah. And when I look at that card, it's a beautiful card too. It's like, it's like, whether it's dance or whether it's just fully free emotionally, and it's there's no chains. It's one with the universe. It's ever flowing into what you are being guided towards. And I almost feel like you're questioning your guidance by being like, well, I've been doing the work. And I know there's a lot of Capricorns who aren't dating and doing like, I'm doing the work. But I almost feel like there's a lot of it where it's like, yeah, you're doing the work to keep pushing it out because you're too afraid to face relationships. And maybe your victory is actually to experience something beautiful and grand from the divine. But then again, if you're in relationship stuff or you're dating somebody and you've been putting all this work in and they haven't been showing up, it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is your intuition saying? That's the victory, is that the intuition already gave you the hit and you're going off and trying to run with, no, the work that I've been doing or how much I put in.
Yeah. You're creating all these like rules for yourselves. And this is really, it's anti-hero. It's the risk taker, the rule breaker, whatever you think a relationship is supposed to be, the work and the this and the that. It's actually, you need to take a step back from all of that and let yourself feel a little more, because there's something, it's going to feel a little foreign to you. It's but there needs to be that element of like, stop worrying about the work and get more into like, I'm seeing like Fred Astaire dancing around and like tap into your romantic side, to like be a risk taker and do something you haven't done before for romance, for passion,
I mean, I love how it says Maverick. I love Top Gun. I love Maverick. I mean, like Maverick goes into the bar and he picks up a microphone and he starts singing to her, and then he follows her into the girls' restroom. I'm not saying to go do that, but back then in the 80s, like, it was like nobody tripped out about that shit. But it's like that whole idea, like he went for what he really wanted, and it wasn't like she didn't want it. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't be trying to force yourself into places and taking risks on people that don't want it. But there's definitely this element of like you being maybe afraid to take a risk, which is so funny. You love risk, but I think that your risk assessment is off. Like, I think it's about taking risk into a much more who knows, but spirit's guiding. And there's just an easier, much more victorious, beautiful element with way more ease and grace. And it's not that big of a risk, really. Because I think that the risk for you is not following this other road that's way more heavenly, way more guided, way more beautiful, way more less about the work put in. Because when you're in love, it's not about the work. It's like, you don't just start going like, well, this is the work I've done for you, and like, I have an invoice for you.
Keeping score. Yeah. Nope. And that's kind of perfectly said, because co-create was the last card. Like, literally, you're worried about the work, but when you come together with someone, when you let, your passion lead, your romance lead, the work will happen together naturally. You don't have to worry about like, well, I have to get this stuff off my checklist. Like, you guys can go through the checklist together. It can be easier. Stop making it so difficult.
A lion at the top of that in co-creation. Yeah, and it's funny you brought up checklist, because I almost feel like the co-create thing here with I feel like there's two sides, right? This high priestess is a co-creation with somebody who goes with the flow a lot easier, like you should be doing now, and you feel that you want to. I don't think that you don't want to go with the flow. I actually feel like you do want to go with the flow. But I feel like you're kind of in a situation, or you're still debating a situation where it's like not flowy at all. And I think co-creation is, of course, together and also binding through spirit. And I think that it's not so much about all these things that are done opposed to being able to guide each other together and co-create something beautiful where there's no resistance. I feel like there's resistance that's unnecessary. Your astro card that you pulled here is the earth element of stability. Wow. I mean, you know, and maybe that's where you're confusing things too about, well, I put in all this work, it's stable. It's like, okay, well, love can be stable, but that also can be really boring.
Yeah, you can have stability and passion and co-creation and all the things at the same time. Literally, you get to create what you want the relationship to look like. But I think you're being a little like, I don't know, like the word staunch. Like it's just like, well, it has to be this way, and like.
Or your partner's kind of forcing you to be that way, and you don't know how to deal with it. You're like, be the emperor. Like, be like, no. I don't, that's not the emperor, the empire that I have wanted in my life. Like, I almost feel like you might be being guilt tripped, like you're not doing enough, or you don't have enough money, or you don't have, because that King of Pentacles definitely can feel very self-worth stripped away from you. And it's almost like, okay, I'll just take whatever I've got. I wanted to pick a card with what you picked with the co-create, and we got the death card here, like in the fuck it. I love it because it's almost like this is a different way of co-creating completely and detaching from the ideas of how to co-create and how it's always like been this one way. And it's a little bit obsessive how you've been co-creating. And now it's like, let's remove that and say, fuck it and try something different.
Yeah. Yep. And actually, we got the King of Swords and the Four of Wands for a sexy time card. You gotta say what you want. You know what I mean? Like, come out, be clear about what you want. Like, don't be afraid to step into that masculine energy, that masculine energy, and take it and celebrate it. Celebrate that energy and celebrate your passionate side, your romantic side. It's there. It's there. You've done enough like work. Have fun with.
Yeah, and maybe somebody that actually talks in bed instead of just doesn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah,
like a human being. But you know, it's interesting because it's like clarity too. King of Swords is so clear on what it wants, and about a Four of Wands, it's clear on, I want this union, I want this celebration, I want us to either have a baby, get married, renew our vows, celebrate that 1 year anniversary of just some random moment. It's just like so much clarity. I almost feel like for you, you've got to step into that, but also look at, if you are in that space, is your partner clear? And are they very determined about celebrating beautiful things? And I think for you, there's also about, maybe it's time to switch your line of thinking towards all the most amazing celebration energy as possible. And instead of facing this, I have to take this stable road only. You did get, with Ganesha, you did get the concentration card here. So, I mean, you could be definitely contemplating a lot, but I think that the concentration here is to, not in a negative way, but to concentrate on what's good and what's clear and what's graceful, and maybe stop concentrating on things. If you're going to concentrate on something, you should be lifted up by it, opposed to like, God, like I got to concentrate on how to figure out this.
Yeah.
Like really heavy.
Yeah.
Like situation of like, I feel guilt. I feel like shame that you don't have to consider anymore. Like maybe the concentration is, maybe you're over concentrating on trying to fix, you know, a horribly like terrifying situation of heaviness and just so much physical weight, and you've been lugging the rocks nonstop, and I guess I'll still keep doing that. It's like, I mean, if you really want to be Freddie Flintstone and Barney Rubble and pedaling in the cars too, I must feel like it's like Flintstone life or Jetson life. I mean, like
Wilma and Betty were kind of hot, but
of course. But I'm just saying that. But they were like I don't think they had these issues, right? Like, I feel like I'm just like focusing on the pedaling and the cars and the being at the rock mill. Like,
yeah, you want someone that energizes you, not exhausts you. If they're exhausting you, then, you know, and I feel like with that concentration card, you kind of have been all up in your head about it. But literally, it's as simple as if they are exhausting you instead of energizing you, something needs to change. It's not working. You know, tap into the romantic side, tap into the passionate side. And if that little spark doesn't change something, then you really need to reassess.
You pulled King of Swords reversed. I wanted to know what the concentration was about. It's actually about pulling your concentration away of what's not clear anymore. Like you don't need to keep assessing more of what you're not clear on. Like it's like you've already run, especially with Mercury in your 6th house and it's finished up here. It's like, are you just going to continue to keep analyzing, or are you going to actually make a change here? Make a choice. Like, I feel like you're overanalyzing way too much, and that's bringing non-clarity. It's time to just be clear by not analyzing things anymore and getting over this is as much data as I got, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm moving on to a clarity point that I want in my life instead of mulching the same idea and the same thing. And it's very heavy, like you said. It's very bland. I mean, stability is great, but it's like this stability is different. It's just stability, and it's like AARP cards are in the mail.
Mm-hmm. And look how many contradictory cards there are. Like, we got the 6 of Wands upright and reverse, the King of Swords upright and reverse. Like, they don't know if they're coming or going right now a little bit. Like, if it's not energizing you.
Yeah. Or if they're giving all their power away. Because that Emperor is the one that's giving me the most of the spiritual advice, is like to take your power back or own your power. And I feel like that King of Pentacles reversed with that 6 of Wands reversed is almost just like giving that you lost. And I have to accept this. You really don't. Saturn in the 11th. Interesting. So why are you so afraid to keep exploring new energies of not only people, but people identify with different social circles and parts of the world? And I almost feel like you're kind of restricting yourself from, whether you're single or not, really looking at the people around. You want to look at the friends too and how that is of people and be like, where's the world that I really want to have? And is this world really working for me? And are these kind of groups of people that either we hang around, or this person I'm dating is hanging around, or that I'm interested in hanging around? Is this all really expanding my life, or am I feeling like I'm contracting?
Oh, Cappy. You need to be energized.
Crappies. Well, it's a big new moon for them. The new moon's in their 7th house of relationship. And they do have Mars and Venus in their sexy time house. Whoa. So, do you want to do the honors? Everybody's like, yeah, have her pick. He's picked fucking bad meetings lately.
Aries.
Look at Aries. They're like, fuck yeah, she picked. It's going to be good. Every time Leo King picks, it's horrible. Like, oh, sorry. Well, if there's any sign, I mean, the collective reading we did at the beginning, Aries run that collective vibe. So it's like, there's a lot to figure out here with that resurgence of love and emotion. Wow. I'm really interesting to see. There's a little craziness with that Venus in your 5th year square in Uranus opposing Saturn, but wow. 2 of Cups upright, and I love that deck. This Vampir's deck is wow. Ace of Cups, though, as the challenge. And, wow, the Knight of Swords upright as your spiritual advice outcome card. Wow. I mean, you got the soulmate card here. You got the definite deep connection here. But, I mean, I know it might sound crazy. It's still deeply, it's very connected. But, like, that Ace of Cups is trying to find It's trying to find some really powerful emotional moment that you've been waiting for and it hasn't got there right now. And I'm just going to say this. You got to figure this thing out quick. That's the quickest card in the deck, besides the Page of Swords, would be the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is rushing in to save the day all the time and rushing in to figure it out. And the universe is kind of saying, like, I think we're going to have to go deeper, but you need to figure out why there is something that needs to feel like it needs to be refilled. It feels like this thing filled up and then didn't refill again. Like there's no refills. It's like, what? No refills? Imagine me going into a place with like ready to get my Sprite. You know what I mean? I'd be like, okay. It's like, no refills. I wasn't ready for that. I almost feel like you weren't ready for such a powerful connection to kind of lose this kind of like, and then like, oh, wait, I thought it should refill. That was great. And then it's like you're still trying to find as fast as you can and figure out. And you're hiring everybody. You're figuring it all out. You're trying everything. You're fucking doing seances and saging everything. And you're praying. And you're doing, I mean, like, I feel like you're trying every fucking thing in the world that you got to try and like fulfill something. But maybe that's just maybe an area. I don't know. I'm just getting that from my guides because we're not clear enough. But there's definitely a strong connection. But there's a weird element that it's got also it's got a dock line on the dock that keeps breaking and the boat keeps pulling off the dock and you have to keep pulling it back in and it just can't be a comfortable, safe space. That Knight of Swords is super fast and super on the borderline of manic frantic.
If it is not beginning with a passionate person, we don't want it. And I mean, you know, Aries, you are the first sign. You're the passionate, you know, I mean, you're a fire sign, you're naturally passionate and you want someone as passionate as you. I don't know if you'll be able to tolerate someone as passionate as you because you need a little balancing out. You know what I mean? You need someone that's passionate, possibly in a different way as you, so that there's a nice like flow there, but so you won't get bored because I think you do get bored pretty easily.
Yeah, wow. You got the Ten of Cups, that Ace of Wands, and the Ace of, or the Knight of Wands too? Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of funny because I don't want no Aries out there just being like automatically like, well, that's what exactly they are. Like, I kind of feel like it's like that Ace of Cups to me is standing out the most in challenge because it's like things can be exciting, but then you got to do a lot of things to bring that excitement to also mix though with an energy that can contain and hold that and keep it. It almost feels like there's a possibility here of an energy source that you didn't realize that wouldn't energetically fall away, that you have to use this crazy kind of wild side to always bring back. And then sometimes that could be drama or sometimes it could be just crazy stimulation.
Mm-hmm. And look, I think a lot of you Aries have been alone for a minute and you're feeling like a loner and you want a partner, but you know, forcing this isn't going to necessarily get the job done either. You know, you got the loner card, the misfit card. Maybe you feel like, well, I'm so passionate, nobody can really understand me or match me or this or that.
Little hot topic-y kind of like, I'm at Hot Topic alone buying a studded belt. I miss Hot Topic. Emo. I look at that card as emo.
A little bit emo, yeah.
And I feel like maybe like people kind of like sadistic emo energy of relationships because it is where you're getting your feeling. But the Ace of Cups is looking for wholesome feeling instead of like, he left again, she left again. He never shows up on time, but man, when we do show up, it's all good. But when he's gone or she's gone, then she's out and oh, they're in Vegas and oh no, that's just a friend. Like, you know, it's like what? And then and then I have to go. It feels like, I mean, especially that Wanderer card, which that outsider, it's like you shouldn't keep being pushed kind of as the outsider. The real energy of an Ace of Wands and a Knight of Wands, and especially even a Knight of Swords, is so focused on you. And I almost feel like it's like they're focused and then they hop and then they come back focused. But why aren't they focused continually enough?
I think it's because Aries wants a connection and a relationship so badly right now that they're like diving in head first and like being like full force about it, and it's kind of making people back away. And that's why Ace of Cups is in the challenge, is because that's what they really want, but they want it so quickly. And like with that King of Wands and that Ace of Wands and all of it, you have potential for a really beautiful connection, but don't rush the process. Be an observer. Get to know the person for a minute. It can still be passionate while you get to know the person as you're becoming a stronger unit and connection. You have a beautiful connection. You got the Two of Cups, but you meet a Two of Cups and you're like, yes, that's it. We're getting married. This is it. It's like, rah, you know what I mean? But you have to take a beat and get to know if this is like really a person you can go the distance with. So
What's going on with this observing card here? Five of Wands in reversed. You're too afraid of the conflict that's going to be about what's really you've got to face, about what's showing up in the observations that you have. It's like there's a lot of conflict and you're like just wanting to get rid of it. So you just almost don't want to deal with it. Like, you know, it's like Five of Wands to me is just like not ready to play the game. And I think that you have to really be honest with yourself. It's like you keep playing the game where it's like you see the observation and then you let it keep happening. And so you play that stupid game where it's like, instead, it's like, no, the real game is to actually look at the observation, see where we all have our Five of Wands always shows us like where we have our different angles that we are coming to try and come together with. But I almost feel like this thing continuously has nonstop angles that are not matching, and it's become to a point where you're like, I'll just deal with that. There's conflict, and especially because you said just right before this that this is beyond just an amazing relationship that's trying to reach you however which way it's about to in your life. That you got the Two of Cups, you got the Ace of Wands, you got the Knight of Wands, you got the Knight of Swords, you've got the Ace of Cups, even though it's in the challenge, it's all there. I mean, you got the bomb.com.
yeah.
But I think you're right about needing to take an observation and maybe being the outsider is a good thing for you to be able to observe and see what's happening. Because I almost feel like this person pieces a little bit so you can see what they really are like. And if they really are the king or the true happy heart loving passionate one, because I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm only out so I can talk for the Wands. When we're in love, like your issue is like you want somebody that's all you all the time, but like this person does go away. And I think that you're right. But I think that you're right about how Aries are kind of pushing them away. But I think originally though, they left and you kept chasing. And I feel like that's the pattern. And that's what you need to observe is that you forgot about that. That you forgot about that. That's the conflict. And now you're the one that they have kind of gaslighted in a way on you of like, you're the problem now to subside that they're the problem in a weird way.
Yeah, and I think you still can have a beautiful victory in this relationship as long as you take a little more grounded approach and, you know, don't be afraid of someone that is a little more grounded or a little more slow, because people will also back away if you're going different speeds. If you're going like warp speed towards a relationship and they're still in the okay, but you know, I just wanted to enjoy the dating part for a little bit longer and you know, all of that, like make sure you're at the same speed and the same level. And if someone is a little bit slower than you, like That's okay. It's still going forward in a nice direction, even though someone's not going warp speed with you. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to travel at their own paces, and as long as you're both moving forward, it can still work.
Your Astro card is, wow, Yod Destiny. That's an intense card because the Yod is such a rare finger of God. So God is pointing to something. And what is God pointing to? That observational moment that Annie's talking about. And it's a destiny moment because it's two very odd angles, you know? I mean, you're dealing with two 150s. Like, you're dealing with some very odd angles that you have to realize have a sextile, but what it is it's pointing to an issue that needs to, that destiny has come to a crossroads here that you have to be looking at and observing 100%. And that five of wands reversed is like, I don't know if I want to go through the conflict of even handling like these things. And like, Aries, I know I love you all, but like, you guys can be like little, like immature babies at some points, right? Where it's like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I just want it to go the way I want. It's going fine in all these other areas. It's like, well, wait, the universe is pointing at a very big thing that you need to observe, a very big thing. And Ganesha pulled guidance. So I almost feel like, it's like, you need to maybe take some of the advice and guidance from people around you, and even just from divine God and yourself, or your own guidance, but making sure that your own guidance is coming from, in this one, it's always ascended masters, or it's guides, or it's angels, however you want to look at it. But it's like, take the guidance that the Spirit's saying, not like your own guidance that's not been working to this point where it's like, gosh, a lot of good energy, but something missing, something that doesn't fulfill the cup fully. And it's like you got to keep refilling, and there's no water left in the tank. Like, it shouldn't be that way. Like, it should have a hose that's nonstop, a river that's constantly flowing, not, having to do like, okay, we're in a drought, water shortages, and when you get it, it's like, yeah, and then when it's gone, it's like, ugh.
Keep dropping on my cards.
I just want to find, what's that guidance from? Well, Ace of Pentacles reversed. The guidance that you need to, I think, get an understanding of is, why is this thing not truly getting off the ground running fully in a space that's manifesting fully what you want? There's things that are missing, whether it's they haven't still put the picture up yet with you two. They still haven't owned the title with the relationship. They still haven't got to that place we all want to get in the manifestation of love physically. So it's like they still live in the other town, and you are still like unsure if they're going to move or you're going to move. Like, these are the issues. It's like the physical stuff that would make it work. But the passion's there and all that. But then there's some observations here, some other weird stuff that you feel like, it's like the fact that you have to keep rushing to figure it out is you're tired from that, I think.
Yeah, and it's funny that the Ace of Cups is the challenge card, because I just pulled the Sexy Time card, and guess what it is?
Ace of Cups?
Ace of Cups. So, I think the Ace of Cups is your challenge card because you're having very emotional, deep, physical interactions with this person, but it's not, you need more than just the physical to, turn this into what it could be. I will say what it could be. You need more than just the physical. Physical's good.
Physical's good. I'm about to go off on the chat. Leo King needs a vacay. Leo King struggling?
What?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely not.
If anybody like, whoa, somebody's a little triggered, maybe is somebody in Aries in here who's sitting at Hot Topic putting studs on by yourself in your room?
What? How do you have all those haters on your
I don't know. I get fucking haters all the time. I'm fucking struggling. You know what? I fucking placed this motherfucking camera up on a C-stand. You can't even see it. You don't even know.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say, this is my first time being in the studio with everything set up, and the way he went from filming the sun signs to running in here, setting up lights, setting up camera, action. I just stood here like, is there something you want me to do? He's like, nope. Like literally he does all of it. So it's really insane. He's not struggling at all.
I just call shit out. You gonna call me out and say I'm struggling? I'm gonna be like, you're struggling with your shit and projecting it on me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Hot Topic's gone, but you know, you can go listen to Dashboard Confessionals for the rest of your life and Newfound Glory, and I hope you feel better. Taurus. My Taurus moon just came out. Like, have fun down there with all the people miserable at Hot Topic. Like, I got a new razor blade. I'm gonna go cut today. How are ya? All right. I know that's fucked up, but hey, that's life. Oh my God. Oh. I remember, I'll never forget during that time period in the 2000s. I remember when I was dating and I was in my early 20s, and it was kind of like a hot fad for like that kind of, because I was into emo and screamo and shit. I still am, but it was like I never really associated. I'd always go to Hot Topic and feel uncomfortable. It was like, you haven't had enough trauma to be in here. You know what I mean? It was like kind of like that. And I remember it was like I'm a cutter. Like, you know, it was like a thing.
People
like,
said that?
Oh yeah. In Orange County and LA in that time period in 2000s, like being a cutter was like a thing. It was like, oh, like I'm a cutter. Like it was like the way I'll never forget the way the girls would say it. Like, I'm a cutter. I'm like, that's not hot.
Yeah. I think I missed that trend.
I'll never forget that shit. like I just, so when I associate there, that's why I'm like, oh yeah, I got a new razor blade. I'm a cutter. Okay, let's see what's going on with the bulls. And I always, on every show, everybody who's ever been a guest has to give a moo.
I already did moo. Moo.
I guess I missed it. I was lost in Hot Topic.
I know,
cutter.
you really were. You were like,
I'm
still
sorry.
walking around Hot Topics.
But we got the 5 of Swords is the first card. We've got, the Knight of Wands in Challenge. And then we do got the 2 of Wands in reversed. Here's the overall. Okay. I think Taurus, this is a pretty easy one. It might look bad, but I don't think it is. I think you don't need to try so hard. Because 5 of Swords is always pushing too hard and pushes everybody away. And especially a Knight of Wands is a leaper for love in such a hard way. And that's a challenge. Maybe you feel like you tried so hard, nobody's coming towards you. Or maybe you're trying so hard on somebody, you need to back off. In both ways, you just need to back off. Because I think that this 2 of Wands is like, I think that you're not clear yet about what exactly you want. So you're kind of leaping without really knowing what you want. And then maybe somebody's trying so hard on you and you're kind of like, pushing it away, but then you're like, wait, I want you to jump more, but then they're not jumping more because you didn't tell them what you wanted. Like you kind of just like wanted them to show up, and it's like, well, do you like me? I feel like there's like questions on whether you like somebody or you're being asked how much you're like how much you like them, and you're not really giving them the answer because I don't think that you really know what that world is yet and how you want to. I think that you're in a bind where maybe you want to jump too, but I think that, you know, you're trying to force figuring out your world. You can't force, well, this person's here now, or this is now. Like, I just feel like it's like, whoa. Like, calm down and be like, okay, like, what do I want here? What does my world look like for love? Before you're just jumping or trying too hard, or if somebody's trying too hard and you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's trying to wake you up. They need to figure out your world.
And, you know, not really liking change very much. Any idea of change in a new relationship is kind of stressing you out a little bit. Even if it is your wish, what you've been wishing for, and the Wheel of Fortune, it really is something you've been wishing for and someone that's showing up to you. But the whole idea of this is stressing you out because there's got to be change to have that person come in, to allow that person into your life. means change on your end, you know. Well, I like my morning routine. I like getting up and having my coffee this way, and I have my day set out this way, and I like to take my bath at this time, and I don't want anyone coming in and messing that up. And oh my God.
I just said a Taurus horoscopes that I'm like, maybe it's time, like the chips on the couch thing. Let's become a regular moment. Like maybe that's not working anymore, and your energy can go somewhere different now. There's a lot of great cards she just pulled. Like amazing. Yeah. Like I'm like looking at it. Like, did she really just pull the Queen of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Nine of Cups
all together? They came
out. But there's that Ten of Swords just making it like, But I think the Ten of Swords is great. It's like you finally have reached a moment of like, I'm done missing out on this amazing, awesome journey for life and love by going through the same patterns of blocking that out or not leaping. Like maybe this is a non-leap issue because I think, you know, you've got to also not expect everybody to leap at you and you not leap back. That's the issue. Like nobody's going to ever feel love if you're the one just going, give me all the love. Like, where's the grapes and the fucking fans already? Like, it's kind of like, guess what? Those fanners, those grape, I don't even know what you call them, those grape feeders, they're looking at their watch like, when am I fucking off from this bitch that needs all this fucking grapes and fucking fanning? Mm-hmm. And unless you're doing the same fanning and the grape feeding on the other side, it's also a two-way street, two of wands, you know, about the worlds coming together. I feel in love. It's like if somebody else is standing for the world that they want, you got to stand with that same world too. And I feel like that's the pattern of not leaping. And then you're like, well, I tried. It's like, I feel like the Five of Swords is like weak trying. Like I put everything I had and I fucking can't. It's like, yeah, you did in this one way, but everything else you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Literally that Nine of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Queen of Wands, you have everything right in front of you to create the life that you want. You are the creator of the life that you want, and you're just getting stressed out about it. I mean,
well, love privilege. Fucking, you got to deal with your love privileges in life. You've been privileged with love, and you don't even know. What are you doing?
I mean, but there is the stereotype that Tauruses are a little lazy. Are you being lazy with love right now? Are you being lazy with love?
Why that? I got the Three of Wands reversed. I'm pulling all the like big cards of like the outcomes of these beautiful worlds and beautiful, awesome opportunities that you're pulling reversed. So it's like, why are you holding yourself back? I mean, a lot of this is you're waiting for a ship to come in, but you don't even know which ship to come in. And you're not showing up to the port to even see the ships come in. It's like you're kind of relaying a message like somebody will like hit me up while I'm laying here on the couch eating my Lay's potato chips and let me know that the ship came in. Okay, great.
Yep, you're between worlds. You're halfway.
Whoa.
Yep, you're halfway between that comfy couch life and the life that you actually want, that you know you deserve.
Look at that flamingo. Mm-hmm. Step out. Like the flamingo doesn't need to be in the dark. The flamingo's trying to get to Miami Beach.
Yeah.
And you pulled the Taurus card as your card. Wow. Woo. You could have flamingo life, or you could be in the Arctic alone as a flamingo going, where the fuck am I? And maybe you're in Vegas going, where the fuck's the water? I feel like there's this moment of truth that, yes, you can have it all. You're a Taurus. You already know this, but I feel like it's like, why aren't you doing it? I think that this in-between part of yourself, it kind of is like you cracking out of your own kind of like multi-dimensional self that you're getting kind of caught up into a fence of like, should I be this or should I be that? It's like, you're here to feel. It's like, if somebody were giving you a massage and they were like, I don't know, should I do your back or your shoulders? It's like, you'd be like, bitch, I do my shoulders. It hurts right here. Like, you're a Taurus. This whole like, I don't know. I won't give you the massage until, I don't know. There's too much I don't know.
And part of it is, I don't even know if it's pure laziness. I think it's a little bit of lack of effort, but you want the relationship, you're capable of the relationship, but there's a little part of you that still wants hot girl summer. So I think that's kind of in between worlds too.
Well, and I want to say this. It's interesting you bringing that up because I was thinking like, well, it's the I have card, and then that Knight of Wands as the challenge is like, in order to have it, you got to leap for it. You got to take the leap. It's like a little bit of a leap of faith here of just having something great. What if hot girl summer is one of the things, and I've learned this lesson. I remember when I was living in Hollywood and I was dating, and there was like some amazing situations, maybe one or two, right? And it was like, oh, I want hot dude summer at fucking going to, the pool parties on Tuesday nights and all that stuff, at the Roosevelt and stuff like that. And it was like, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And I remember getting to the end of that summer being like, this idea that I'm going to have this amazing, like, fun thing and maybe meet some hot, beautiful girl that might be more fun or whatever. No.
Yeah.
And then that girl didn't, like, it was like she moved and was gone. And I was just like, oh, well, fuck that one up. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you don't want to fuck this shit up right now, Taurus, in your life, because you can have the love. And that's the challenge, is like, Miami Beach is the love. The hot girl or hot boy summer is this love story, and you two going together and having your own hot summer together.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm seeing Taurus on the couch swiping, and I think
alone.
Yeah, alone. But and I think this is something that more than just Tauruses deal with. They're in this perpetual state of swiping, like waiting for the next best, the next best, the next best. But you're kind of missing what's right in front of you while you're waiting for the next best. And you also are kind of like missing the fact that while you're swiping, that's not an actual, these are people you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, it's not real.
Tangible, and like you don't even know if they'll
They're not even an option necessarily.
Right. It's like a pipe dream thing. Mm-hmm. And I know that you wouldn't shop at Hot Topic anyway because you'd like a designer belt, but it kind of would just kind of feel like that, like alone. And I think that you do want to be out in the sun. I think that you do want to be in so many of these beautiful places, especially, I mean, you pulled so many abundant cards that are so abundant, and you did pull the spiritual practice card, where I feel like this card, I always get a clarification. What is the spiritual practice about? And it's the King of Pentacles reversed. And that's the sugar daddy card in this deck. I think that you have to let go of this idea that maybe what you're trying to swipe for, as Annie was talking about, is like some sort of situation where you can continue just being, not having to do much. But that's going to be boring, and then you're going to have to deal with the person's death, or sugar mama too. They're out there too. With the COVID ending, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm sure there's sugar mama and daddy's back in the world, ready to fire up their fucking Venmos for you. But
yeah,
I feel like your spiritual practice is also, why don't you own what's amazingly beautiful, King of Pentacles, and have abundance. Your spiritual practice is King of Pentacles reverse, not willing to, Taurus, have it and make it so. I feel like that you're acting like you have it together when you don't, because you don't actually have it. You're choosing not to have it. So King of Pentacles actually has the physical manifestations of these things. It's not like, oh yeah, I've got it all. It's almost like, I almost feel like with a person too, it's like, oh no, I've got them, without setting the tone that you do and watching them out of nowhere. You didn't lock it up. That's a term for us guys, right? Did you lock it up? You lock it up with the one that you want. Mm-hmm. You're not locking it up. Well, and that's not a negative term. That's a positive one. Boom, because I got a feeling somebody could just find another world because that Two of Wands reversed.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it becomes very clear that even though there are certain mindsets that are stressing you out about having the life that you know that you want and deserve, having the relationship that you know that you want and deserve, clear up some of those mindsets, because you're between worlds. You're kind of between that space where you're just like sitting there dreaming about it, thinking about it, wishing for it, and actually having it, you know, and you just need a little nudge, like, go.
Yeah. Gold is one thing. Fool's gold ain't worth shit.
Yeah.
You did get Jupiter, though, and you did get it in, is that Taurus? It is Taurus. In the 5th house of love. If you do not take this journey of the most amazing physical, actual having into your life love journey, that's like throwing a lotto ticket away. Mm-hmm. Like, your exploration is into love that you can have. Your fortune is waiting there. People would beg for this reading on other signs. Yeah. And you're the sign that's like, eh.
Yeah, and this is like a deep, spiritual, divine love.
That's always how it works, too, sometimes. Trust me, you don't want to go through hot Leo King summer in Hollywood back in the day, and it's not a hot Leo King summer. And I remember I was at the Roosevelt one time, and I got a table, and it was Mark Farina, and I was like, oh, yeah, and I was talking to some girls. And then everybody was like, it was like, oh, yeah, we're all hanging out. We got rooms here. And I remember I was hanging out, and I was like, oh, this looks fun. There were some hot chicks and all that. And it was like a crazy swinger party with these creepy old doctors that were really the married men of the girls. And I was like, fuck this. I'm out of here. And I was like, this wasn't hot girl summer. This was fucking old doctor, fucking creepy ass, like, yeah, let me watch you tax my wife.
Yeah. Look, hot girl summer.
Oh my God, I'll never forget that one.
Especially up in Hollywood. Like I live 5 minutes from the Roosevelt. It's not that hot. So.
It's not that hot. I mean, the Tuesday nights were kind of fun, but I never understood the Tuesday night pool party and people like jumping fully clothed into the pool, and like I'd be like, oh, okay, you must have had a lot to drink.
I actually fully enjoy the Roosevelt pool, but I'm more like, they have one of the nights of the week you can sit out by the pool. You can do a resort pass, and like for $30 or $40, lay out by the pool and have someone bring you drinks or food all day. And then they pull this huge screen out. Look at me, you're like helping me clean up. They pull this huge screen out, and you can stay right in your chair, and they play these like old movies, and it's actually really romantic. Hot girl summer at the Roosevelt is watching a movie on a date by the pool, like
not alone. Geminis. I know the Geminis are ready for a reading, and the Geminis are gonna get.
That's my moon. I'm all Scorpio with a random ass.
Wow, look, a Scorpio that came clean with their chart. Fuck, yep. That's a rarity in life. Now, I like this deck. So, this is a fresh new deck. I'm totally resetting this one. Let's see what's going on with Geminis here. Mercury leaving your sign, Gemini, and this is a big time for you. This is the last time your own planet with the North Node here. This is a karmic time for you to really figure out what you want. And that South Node in Sag is, don't create delusional relationships. You're going to have to remember that you got to get everything that you want. Don't forget about that. Don't be like, oh, well, maybe one day. You got the Judgment card reversed as your first card. You got the Knight of Swords in reverse as your challenge. And you got the Emperor upright as your spiritual advice card. That Judgment reversed is really weird to me, especially in love readings, because, maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a tarot reader and an astrologer and a spiritual network owner. But the Judgment is the card of giving your life to the highest divine order. And I almost got a feeling like, is whoever you're contemplating, is this really, I hate to say it. Trust me, I've talked to and dated people who say they're spiritual and they're not. Okay? Like, this is a little bit of like, are you giving up your spirituality for this one? Or are you with somebody that is asking for more of it for you and you're not willing to do it? Like, it's one of these situations. And especially with that Knight of Swords reversed as the challenge, I got a feeling like you're like, nothing needs fixing in this really quick, or nothing needs to be figured out fast or anything, when it's kind of like your whole spiritual mission, your whole spiritual calling of your power is on the line, and to maybe take it a lot more seriously. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want to end up in long, boring summer times 20 years, 18 years to be precise.
So this was interesting. 5 of Cups, 2 of Swords, and then the World. And the World keeps coming out, but I mean, yeah. Either you or your partner are not being fulfilled emotionally and possibly spiritually, and just it needs to go on a deeper level, and like I think that 2 of Swords, you're kind of trying to decide.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened that crushed you, and then now you're debating on whether or not you can handle that crushing energy or not. And I think that it's connected to like, oh, whoa, that's not what my world and I thought this was going to look like. It's interesting if you're just to place your 3 cards with the 3 cards that I pulled, like the Judgment reversed with the 5 of Cups would definitely be a depressing moment of like, yeah, my spirituality or their spirituality or something morally, spiritually of character really, I think is depressing. Mm-hmm. This question that you're trying to figure out of which direction to take, you're not maybe you don't have to even like make it. It's already been made. I feel like with that Knight of Swords reversed, it's like some, it's not like the fire trucks are coming out to put out the fire. The fire's already happened. And I feel like the World's also a card of completion too. Mm-hmm. And it's a new beginning. And after that, it's the last major arcana card. And I feel like you're kind of like at the credits, and you're like, well, what's next? I don't want to see what's next. I just want to continue on the credits and see if I can I like the music on the credits or something, or so it reminds me of the movie. I feel like you're kind of like frozen when this Emperor's here being like, it's time to complete this world change, and it's time to also step into the world that really makes sense for you. And a lot of it is about God and the divine. And it can be kind of hard when you really see somebody's like, I don't want to say a fraud, but when we're talking about in the spiritual realm here, it almost feels like, let's say it's not spiritual either. Like they act like they've got this big mission or they do this big job or something, and they don't, and they just revealed that it's not really as big or special or committed to it as much. And maybe you're also feeling like they're willing to drop their commitments of that, what they loved, and you're feeling bad because you're like realizing they're all about you and they're willing to like let go of their life. And that's a risk too, because like they're getting rid of their own self. Mm-hmm. And you could be doing that too.
Yeah. But knowledge, which I thought that was funny that we pulled that for Gemini, because I feel like that's a very Gemini card, but you already know what the, whatever the situation was that happened, like you already know what it was. It just like, you already know what to do, and you're not really doing it. You also got a very masculine energy. You got the yang. Yeah. So, I mean,
they're a beta if it's a dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
they're a beta.
Yeah. You either need to step up into your masculine energy and take charge and change the situation, or you need a masculine energy.
Or you feel like you're the yang when you want to be the yin. And you're with somebody who's a yin and you're a yang, and you're like, what the hell? I'm looking for a yang and they're a yin. That's very like judgment reversed.
Yeah.
But I think like you've already gotten past, like you don't judge them. You don't like, you're not being judgmental, but I feel like you're at a place to where it's like, well, at some point, I at least need to make a decision. Like you're not being immoral, but like, I think that you're kind of feeling like if you're a woman, you might be feeling like you're the daddy. If you're a guy, you might be feeling like you're the girl, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because in that situation, if there is an imbalance of masculine and feminine, or like if you're the feminine and, you know, you need a little more of that masculine, you know, it's almost like the submissive and the dom. There's got to be, you know, you can't have two submissives. Like that wouldn't be a very good time. Like,
no,
it has to be a flow. And I mean, this can even be for same-sex partners. There still has to be, someone's got to be a dominant force, and someone's got to be the receiving, you know, a little more feminine force. And like there's just kind of a,
somebody acted like they were that divine masculine or feminine, and they crushed you because you realized it was a show. Like it was like, you know, overly acting the part.
yep, I've had that happen before. Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the jock, the frat boy, like all those things you think are like super masculine and manly, and then, you know,
They have IKEA tools. Or,
yeah,
you know, or they're like, I've seen it with women too. They're like, I want to have a family and a baby and all that stuff. And they're like, no, I want my career. That's it. And I don't have time for that. And it's like, wait, what? Like, like, was that because you were like, drink a glass of wine? So you got into your feminine, but then you're living in your masculine? Like, okay.
It's super interesting too when it comes to masculine and feminine, because it took me a really long time, because I'm like, well, I'm really girly. I like my nails done. I like my hair done. I like to dress nice. I like to wear high heels. So I must be feminine. But sometimes you can be leading with a masculine energy, even though you feel like you're feminine. Your energy can be telling a very different story than what you're presenting.
7th house of partnership came up with that. And the Ace of Swords of truth about the relationship. And it was weird because I was thinking about that yang energy, and it was like when we were talking about some people who on either side of whichever, you know, divine masculine or feminine, it's like you brought up the jock, right? It'd be like somebody who like overly does it. Like they're at the gym 3 times a day, when it's like, you don't need to be at the gym 3 times a day. Like, or a woman who's like, you know, like, I don't know, doing something overly too much to try and be it. But then it's like, oh, wait, like the show really is different now. Like the truth has popped itself out like a little gopher. Speaking of, well, not gophers, but elephants with lots of arms and trunks, you got the decision card. Wow. Womp, womp, womp. Well, big decision now. You got a big decision here. You're guided by the sun, which I love that card, because that sun card is, she is so happy. She is out in the sun. She is just in her whatever clothes that makes her feel good, out in the sun, having the time of her life. And I got a feeling like this decision, are you really that person, or are you just holding that energy and then like having to hope that person gets it? Or maybe because you're around them and you were like that once, you think that you're like that with them, but really what you've seen is like, no, they don't know how to constantly hold that for you or be that themselves. Like there's definitely, the sun card is the most conscious card of the deck, of being aware and free of your self-confidence, of your conscious choices in life, and seeing the truth of your soul fully.
And I pulled a sexy time card, and it was the 7 of Pentacles. And it's like, are you trying to grow something or water something to create something, you know, passionate and sexual and physical? That's just, you're having to do a lot of tending to this garden here.
It's a lot of work to get the O.
Yeah.
Or it's comes with a lot of work to get to that space where it is good, or it's a lot of work in just general to hold on to even have sexy time. It's just kind of like, okay, I'll get through that. Okay, finally we got to that fucking moment. instead of it just being like a naturally like beautiful sun card moment. I also want to say that this decision is like, is the person, or maybe it's yourself too, is the person real? Like the sun card is like full real and transparent in who they are. Somebody could be acting like they're all sun and energy when they're not, when the opposite of the sun would be like Uranus. Like they're actually a little bit more odd, cold, detached. And it's like, whoa, like,
Let's see what the dice have to say.
I mean, you did get Aries here. You did get 6th house, and you got it with Neptune. Oh, wow. So this is a little bit of a big hardcore reality check of a diluted reality that has been misidentified. And you have to, identify things a lot more clear and look through the subconscious reality. Like you turned the homeless encampment into Disneyland here. So like, you're walking into the big castle and it's a tent and nobody's been in that tent because it was used as a bathroom for the last 4 years on Venice Beach, So you're like, whoa, gonna have to, like, are you going to continue to try and 7 of Pentacles and slide into there to have fun? Your health is up as well as your soul, and your health situations are trying to identify what's going on.
You went a little dark with that Disneyland reference.
Well, that's the only way to take a Neptunian situation and show for what it is. It's an Oz moment, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, okay, he's really a little fucking dwarf yin, not yang, using that analogy. I mean, and like that's hard with 6th house Neptunes, it's like, the reality is this. It's like, no, it's not. We're almost at the end here.
Woo! Can I?
Yeah, please.
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
My first long-term boyfriend ever was an Aquarius, and it's funny because they get that stereotype of being like detached and whatever, but he was like the most thoughtful, romantic person. It was in college, so I mean, we were only,
look at Ashton Kutcher. He was like the Aquarius of all Aquarius. What happened to what happened to Jennifer Aniston? What happened to? I can name Aquarians all day, and where did they go?
Yeah.
Saturn is now in their sign, and Jupiter met there, and it's like they are a different person now. They are completely having to build off a completely new identity. So, it's not easy because it's like they might want to try to live how they were, but they're not anymore. My best friend was an Aquarius. Then he went and married the girlfriend that they were with, and then he was gone. I was like, my best friend. I was like, wow. I'm still in contact with him, and I love him to death, but I'm happy for him. But he used to be like, hey, let's pick you up. We're going to go smoke weed fucking in the fucking car and put the fucking windows up and make sure the cops don't find us. I'm like, oh, well, let's go. Like, we were just like, always go. Let's have to do that. And it was just like gone one day. So I always like to use celebrities as good examples for Aquarians. I'm like, where are all the Aquarians at? Crickets. I think Ashton Kutcher is a good example. Like, he was like top of the game, and then where did he go?
Mm-hmm. Well, married. They kind of.
Well, yeah. Mila got that. Leo, but you see more of her than you see him.
Yes.
We got the Empress as your first card, Aquarius. You got the Hangman as your challenge, and you got the Ace of Wands in reversed here as your overall. I feel a lot of. What are you stuck about here? I'm pulling a clarity card. 8 of Wands reversed. Okay, things aren't going the direction you thought they were, or maybe you're afraid of putting this beautiful energy in. That Ace of Wands reversed is always like afraid to really put the final jab in the love energy and connect to it, and also a fresh beginning. It almost feels like you're kind of in a pattern of feeling like things are going backwards, but I feel like you're the one who's creating the backwards motion here with this Empress card. Like, things don't have to be backwards. Look at that Venus symbol too. It's so strong. It's like you can have love, but I think that you got to address the issues that you feel stuck on, and instead of keep looking at them as bad or keep pushing them behind, because I always feel the Eight of Wands to me in reverse is always like, you know, why keep pulling the arrows back opposed to letting them fly? And this is where you got to let things fly, whatever it is that you're feeling. That Empress card is encompassing so much to hold on to so much beauty and so much greatness. But like, maybe there's an issue that isn't that feeling that way right now, but it's almost like just address it, and maybe you can get, it's almost like, I feel like you're like backtracking here into a place of like, well, maybe it's not good, when it's like all you got to do is show up, because I think that you feel like you're stuck, but you're choosing to be stuck by not continuing things forward. You're too afraid to face something in a beautiful way. Like, I feel like whoever it is that you're dealing with would totally embrace you for whatever is going on, instead of like holding it in and staying feeling like you're stuck. And I don't know, that Empress is such a great card that I don't feel like it's as big of a deal as you think it is. You're making it something a big deal that's not. And I feel like it's something that you feel stuck about with somebody, but it's like you gotta keep the energy flowing. Like, I feel like there's like a dam that you've created. You're not a beaver.
They might be a beaver. We got that damn Page of Wands again, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Justice card. I think, you know, I think you have a lot to give. I think you're still kind of waiting for the right person, because you're getting pages right now when you want kings and queens. So you're kind of tolerating the pages because they're coming in and they're available, and that's great. But that's where you're kind of getting stuck, because the more you entertain the pages, you don't have any space for the kings and queens, and you really have potential. The Nine of Pentacles, like, she's like really absorbing all the luxury, you know what I mean? She's playing with all the, like, she's got birds on her hand, she's got everything, and then
she can attract that. Her beauty and her value attracts, manifests it all to come to her.
Yeah, like she's a definitely a manifester. And then with the Justice card, you know, you do deserve someone that kind of balances you out and brings you all the fulfillment that you need. And right now you're kind of settling for like meh.
Yeah, and I feel that also, because I love how you brought up the pages and how, you know, you can get distracted there for long. But maybe there's something that you're distracted about because you want to say something. You know, Paige sometimes just wants to say something and get it out there. And that Eight of Wands reverse. Or maybe your partner, you're doing everything and your partner's not saying anything back. Or maybe you're trying something with somebody and they're not saying anything back. But I feel like you got to look at this as an equal thing too. It's a justice. So it's like, you got to weigh things out and be like, am I putting more? Are they not putting enough? That Nine of Pentacles is also like, am I solid in myself? And am I with somebody or dating somebody or interested in somebody who's solid in their self too? Because entertaining somebody who's not really solid is not really going to come together. But I got a feeling with you, you got to own your solidarity as what you want in your life. And that's where I think you're stuck, is like, I think that you may be afraid because you're an Aquarius to almost like disrupt a situation when you're a disruptor. You're trying to Empress and hold everything together, but it's stuck feeling and Ace of Wands feeling like it's really meh, as you said.
Yep, and I love it. Every time you like are channeling and speaking, and I'm doing this Empress deck, yeah, like literally it says rebellion, revolution, be a disruptor.
Fuck yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, you're not speaking up. You're not saying what you want. You're tolerating. You don't need to sit there and tolerate anymore.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's feeling like more of a parental role, or just not saying, like, it's almost like, gosh, you could have what you want from somebody, but you like aren't being that crazy Aquarius and be like, what are you doing tonight? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, fuck it, I just want to see you. I just want to do that. I just like, it's like throwing pasta on the wall. Not only just seeing if it sticks, but seeing if it like fucking flies. Like, you know, like trying out random new things. The Astro card that you got here. Oh, wow. It's the Jupiter return to benefits. You have so many amazing, this is a big moment for you of like, are you going to take the big benefits of like actually throwing it all out there, being the rebel, doing what you can do, trying it differently, but also expanding. Like this is an expanding moment and you're stuck. So it's like, don't keep staying in the same energy. You got to fucking throw it to the wind sometimes. You got to follow the yellow brick road in life. You know, there's benefits at the end of this journey. And I think that, you know, not doing anything right now and staying behind and playing softball.
It's not really fair to you. You pulled the Justice card and then a clarifier is to be fair. Like, you're not being fair to yourself by settling with what you don't want, with settling for less than you deserve. Look, like Aquarius, you guys are different. You guys are a little weird, but that weirdness, like, you guys are the handwritten love notes when nobody does that anymore. You guys are really kind of special, and you're not acting like you're special right now. Step into what you know you deserve, because you tolerating less than, it's really not cute, okay?
Yeah, it's like whoever it is not giving you, like, it's almost like they're kind of like
crumbs.
Yeah, crumbs and almost like not seeing your greatness, and kind of they might even be trying to force you to become great when that's not the way it should be done. Like it should be like trying to lift you up into it in a beneficial way, in a beautiful and a harmonious way. But like they're also forgetting that you're a rebel, but also you're too afraid to fuck it up. And that's the problem. Like if you're too afraid to fuck it up, by being who you are, and by owning who you are, and by knowing who you are, like, then you're already fucked up because you're not being who you are.
Yeah, and then the sexy time card is the Ten of Swords. You're not even, because there is no depth to this, you're not even really fully enjoying the physical experience of it. Like, you're literally wasting your time right now.
Oh, yeah, that's like, it's 8 o'clock. I think it's time, you know?
Yeah, only in the bedroom. Only,
yeah.
You know. Everybody has to go shower after.
Oh, it's very, yeah, it's like, it's very scheduled out.
Yeah.
I wanted to see about that justice stuff. Queen of Swords, yeah, it's time to own it and be a little colder about where the injustice has slid off the wrong side of the scales. You got positive outlook. That's such a vague thing. 8 of Pentacles reversed. I think that you have to have a better outlook of like that you need to remember the mastery within yourself, because I think you've lost a positive outlook on what you can accomplish and what you already know how to do so well and you've mastered and created. It's like you've lost your mastery. You've put your energy like on the back burner, and now, I mean, even this Ken doll strips better than you now. Like, so.
Yeah, that positive outlook needs to be on yourself. Like, you know what you bring to the table, you know what you're capable of, and, you know, you're not looking at yourself. If you're still kind of set on something that didn't go right in the past or mistakes you made in the past, and you still think you're that person, you need to let it go, because you're not, like, people grow, and you've grown into a person that, you know, you are ready and
you've lost that edge.
Yeah.
And the person you're with has no edge. That they're soft and they're like, they're like, you're like having to like hold back your wild energy and who you are. You're a wild stallion being corralled, not just in a horse corral, in a pig corral.
This is the most vanilla sex you could ever possibly think of.
And vanilla person.
Yeah.
There's not even toppings around. Not even a spoon. You got to like, that would actually be edgy to like eat it without a spoon. No, you're eating it with the perfectly done spoon. Not even an ice cream cone. I always, think you had it one roll off. That's a little weird already. You got Jupiter here. You've got Capricorn, and you got it in the 10th house. I mean, you got to be a boss now. I'm sorry to say. You've become into positions where you forgot about having to realize that the only benefit in life is when you make big decisions and you go for the bigger energy in life and you recognize the greatness of who you are. And you're going to have to take that precedent now, and you have to get back on track with who you are, because you're off track and you've expanded and you've learned quite a lot, but you need to get back on track on who you are. And, it's like you've experienced bland and boring. That's one thing too, but you also know what the other part of that is. And that's the risky one and the risk taker. And even though I know Aquarius is a wild one, believe it or not, Capricorn's a big risk taker. And I have Jupiter in Capricorn. Let me tell you, I fucking take big risks in life, but I also know that my benefit in life is being an adult and taking care of shit. And I feel, and holding the line of the mission in which you came here to be, which is the unique, wild, and edgy one. And you need to get back on that track, because it'll open up so many good things for you.
It really will. It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
And not, it's time for us to go into the bedroom. Hello.
2 days a week at 8 p.m. exactly.
And it's like putting a quarter in the bed to make it vibrate. Wasn't that exciting? Virgo.
Speaking of 8 p.m.
It reminds me of in National Lampoon's Vacation, when Chevy Chase and his wife, they go on the vacation, and like he's like looking out the window at the girl driving the Porsche, or maybe she's in a Ferrari, I think. And then like he's like, oh yeah. And then he goes out to the pool with her and stuff. And then he comes back like, no, nothing's wrong. Like, oh, okay, let me get back to my normal life. And like, we're going to spice it up by putting that quarter in the bed.
Oh my gosh. Huh. Yeah. I don't think they make those anymore.
All right, Virgos. Virgos are like, don't ever associate us with being that way. Virgos are kinky, so don't, they got Aries as their 8th house. So let's see what's going on here with you, Virgo, this week. You did pull the 4 of Cups in reverse. You pulled as your challenge the 9 of Pentacles. And your overall spiritual card is Wheel of Fortune reversed. I feel a controlled narrative of trying to, staying in the same routine and pattern and feeling like you're missing out on a gift. But the real gift is that you're missing out on is how amazing and beautiful you are. I don't think you're being recognized by that. It's like somebody's not seeing the gift that you want. They're forgetting about you a little bit. I always feel like 4 of Cups is always like, pushing it aside a little bit or forgetting the beauty. It's like maybe the person even like stopped opening doors for you. Maybe they stopped paying attention, and it's like you're like, what the fuck? Especially that Wheel of Fortune reverse though is like, stop trying to control the outcome of things. Like you got to let the wheel turn. And I feel like instead of looking at it as like bad luck, it's kind of like, remember that you're a badass motherfucker. And if you're being passed off to the side or you're not being really attended to, like,
Yeah, because the Empress, again, you got the 9 of Pentacles and the Empress, but then you got the 4 of Swords. Like, you're tired of this situation. You're tired of this situation because you know you deserve better too. And the Empress, we had just said the 9 of Pentacles, she can attract whatever she wants. She's gorgeous. Like, everyone likes her. Birds come and fall on her hand, right? And then you have the Empress, who is the mother, the creator. She can create whatever she wants. But you're just kind of like in this situation. Yeah, like
it's too safe.
Ugh.
It's too rooted. And so you're letting the roots that don't have any more bloom in the flower stay in the garden. And also what's crazy is it's blooming central. It's blooming onion we're at Outback. And they don't want to take a dip.
You're craving.
I told you. Oh my God.
You're craving a blooming onion.
Oh.
But you got a blooming idiot instead. Like, you're craving more.
No
You need...
dipping. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. Why are they not dipping? Oh, King of Cups. They are not masters of their emotions. They don't know what they want emotionally. And you need to question where they're at emotionally. I think you already know it. You've got the Four of Cups reversed. It's like, I hate to say it. It's like, hello, did you forget about what you got here? I feel that so much with this right now reading. Like, and it's like, and you got to find out what that's about.
Why?
Why?
Literally, why? What is going on? Why is this happening? Why? Like, can you fix it? Because
sixth house, it's a fucking routine. It's the same fucking pattern. It's the same. It's just like, and also maybe the routines in the work life and the realities are changing completely. Like you're growing and blooming, and they're fucking, washing dishes and, I don't know. I also feel like it's too routine, too rooted with just safety of routine instead of bliss and beauty. It's also boring. Mm-hmm. Or they're bored. But I also think that you might be bored too. You got the achievement card here. I mean,
it looks good on paper. Doesn't look good in bed.
Wow. Well, I'm wondering with the sixth house and achievement. Page of Wands reversed. Yeah, they're not showing their affection.
Yeah. It looks, I think you're staying here because it does. It looks good on paper. You both have good jobs. It looks a certain way. You look good walking down the street, but you get home and you barely speak. There's no real connection. You've kind of lost the spark, right?
You've lost that love and feeling.
And back to Top Gun.
Oh, that. Yeah. Well, and I feel like, look at when was the last time you took a picture together? Don't be running off the old pictures. When was the last sparkful picture that you took?
Yeah.
And was it you that initiated it and not them? Because that will tell you right now, your answer, if you were the one that initiated the last picture and posted it, and they have not, that's who they are right now.
And for a sexy time card, you got the Star. You're not out in the water skinny dipping together and elevating and, the sex is making you guys float off into new worlds. Like none of that is happening right now. So
well, and I think a lot of that is because the Star card is like naked out with the universe and following the divine universe. Mm-hmm. And I almost feel like whoever you're dealing with right now, Virgo, they're not even following the universe. They're kind of like janky right now. They're like in an old Model T, like starting it up. Like, I don't know where I'm going next. Like, that's not very sexy or like, because the Star card could be a sexy thing. It's like naked under the stars. But like, you would really want to do that with somebody who is like able to do that. I feel like you're kind of with somebody who's kind of lost in other gifts right now. And they're totally have kind of got to the point to where you've been feeling it get to this place. And they finally crossed that bridge you didn't think they were going to cross to kind of like, they kind of forgot about it. What's up with that Wheel of Fortune reversed? 10 of Cups reversed. Ooh, I just, it's just like, it's like, it's one thing to have things go well at one point in a relationship, but there's just some relationships that just, like they never were meant to get to that place that we all dream about.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself if it really has even got there and how close are you to actually getting to, like, maybe you do have jobs that work together well or whatever, but it's like still haven't been able to like live together or find a house together or like get what you want. It's like everything's kind of like,
yeah, no happy family, happy life going on here.
yeah, no dream talk either about union, but maybe just only about the achievements of where you both are going. So it's more like, you know, you guys are work slaves to work, and you guys are just there through each other to comfort each other through work life.
Yeah. So, I mean, why are you trying to make it work? Why are you still together? Like, ask yourself the hard questions, you know?
Well, look at the shadow. Well, blinded to the pain. It's like you don't want to accept the pain, so you just push the pain away, and you know it's there, and you don't act like it's there, and you don't even tell the partner it's there, and that's the most fucked up part, is like you just numb it. Or you haven't been aware of it, and this week you finally are like, oh, but I Virgos are smarter than that, so it's like, you know.
Yeah, I think that Four of Cups, I think you've been feeling it and you've been ignoring it.
Yeah, because it's also like a hidden thing too, where it's like people are starting to question you because they don't see the gift of your love anymore. That's why I brought up the picture thing. It's like, where's the picture? Where's the story? Where's the, you know, like, where's the fun dates? Like, where's the
fun period.
Honestly, there's like fully zero like romanticism. Zero. It's like, like what happened to the romantic? It's like, oh, you're here. Oh, I have to see you today. Oh my God. I had to pull the Astro. Oh God. Oh. You got first house, Saturn and Libra. So, I mean, Saturn and Libra, it's time to make a big decision on what you really want here. And you also have to be honest about, well, you're not feeling like you're getting what you want. So you need to look at the other side and go, what the fuck? Why? As you pulled the Y card. And you're sitting on too much of the decision. You've been balancing this decision for a long time in Libra. Like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. And so you've been on the fence. Well, look at how it's responding with somebody else on the fence.
I really do get the vibe that you kind of just like the way it looks too.
Ooh.
Like, you know, well, we look really good together.
Here,
we
you
look
pick
like
this
a cute
one.
couple.
I know people are like, eh. We're on the last couple here.
Libra. Man, that cup does not want me to pick Scorpio, does it? It does not want me to pick
No, the last ones that we got, it is Scorpio and it is Pisces. All right, let's see what's going on, Libra, with your love life this week. And I'm feeling the energy for Libras. The best that could happen. All right, Libra, your first card that you got here is, you did get the Hermit reversed. You did get the Queen of Wands reversed as your challenge, and you did get the Sun card upright as your overall. I think somebody's ready for like epic showers of happiness, but you don't feel like that's happening. But maybe it's about the energy. Queen of Wands reversed, I almost feel like it's like Queen of Wands is loyal. And I feel like this is like, you might have had some spark with some people, but this Hermit reversed has figured it out. Like, you're like, wait, they just want fun spark for a second, but they don't want to be the Sun that's constant or the Queen of Wands that's loyal. So there's like an energy of like, it's like you're going to have to kind of look around and be like, who's really like got the energy? And maybe it's within yourself too. I'm going to be honest. Libras like to fucking, I know Libra always gets a rap like, oh, always relationships and stuff, but like, trust me, like Libras look around. And I got a feeling like you are really focusing in on what to look for. Just how I'm going to go run and go take a pee as you pick those two cards.
Yeah, so we got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles with, I pulled a clarifier because I was like, okay, 2 queens, what's going on here? The 7 of Swords. So, I mean, are you juggling a little bit and not being completely honest about the juggling? Because it kind of seems like, yeah, you might have been, you know, in quarantine for the last year, and now you're like, I'm ready to, you know, dust off and get out there again a little bit, and sun's out, summertime. And then, like, yeah, it looks like maybe you might be juggling, or like you might kind of be trying to decide between a few options, but you need to be, it's okay to date around. It's okay to date multiple people. They actually, you know, a lot of dating coaches will actually tell you to date more than one person. But you want to let people know, like, until we're exclusive, like I am dating more than one person. You know what I mean? That way nobody can get hurt. Like, lines of communication are open. So let me grab this one. I really freaking love this deck. It's so good. Get a little clarifier here. Primal. Yeah, you have like 2 different queens going on. You know, you're being a little shysty about juggling a little bit, but I mean, you're kind of following your primal urges, your primal instinct. You know, if you've been cooped up for a little while, or if you're just getting out of a relationship and you're ready to play the field, but you need to be honest about what you're doing. You need to be honest with yourself about what it is that you want, whether you want a relationship or not. And if you are juggling multiple people, you need to be honest that, like, I'm not ready for a relationship, so I'm dating around. Like, whatever it is, you need to be honest about it. I think they're being players a little bit.
Primal.
Yeah, I think
wow.
they're following their primal instincts a little bit, because we got.
I like this card.
I know, I do too.
Oh man.
We got the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and I clarified it with the 7 of Wands. I think they're juggling a little bit, but.
I mean, I was kind of feeling like they were like looking around,
Yeah.
but I think that I'm gonna with the primal 8 of Wands. This is where I think that, you know what, I think it's good kind of in a way. Maybe you've been primal and like looking around, and maybe kind of, you know, you're getting caught into this or that, whatever. But I feel like it's been able to help you understand what you really kind of want, because I think that you kind of haven't and if you haven't let yourself free yet as a Libra to your primal desires, this is the week to finally do it. Mm-hmm. But if you have been doing this, it's helping you get more clarity on where to go, because you did pull that Queen of Cups. So I feel with the Sun card, and I'm feeling it was like a loyal and like a much more like constant energy. I feel like you've been actually playing with players as you've been a player. Yeah. And now this is getting rid of playing with players and you getting yourself out of player, because you kind of replicate whatever you're with. So I just feel like you've been just dealing with players, and it might make you feel like you've been like, oh, I'm a player. But this is almost like how you find or how you do find where you got to go. Like, I mean, you know, we all have to sometimes deal with players or be the player sometimes, like to be like, okay, I don't want that, you know,
until you find.
Trust me, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been a player before. Like, it's fucking. I used to like to crush a lot, but you know, it's like you don't really have much to crush when you're all alone. You know.
Anyway.
Soulmates. Look at wow.
We got the soulmates card. So I think, you know, honestly, I think what could happen is you're kind of playing around, you're playing the field, and you end up really liking one of them. You know, and you kind of end up liking each other, even if you're both having like a hot girl, hot boy summer. You know, all I was saying before is it's fine to play around and date multiple people, but you want to keep the lines of communication open and be honest about the fact that you are dating around and that the two of you are not exclusive. So that way no one can get their feelings hurt. But yeah, I think there is the potential of a soulmate connection from playing around, even, like, you know, feelings could really develop.
Wow, they got the Gemini twin card for the soulmate. Could be a Gemini. Could also be just this energy of feeling like really connected, especially communication wise, but also stimulating. but also kind of feeling like you guys are mirroring each other in the way that you really want to be mirrored. And it's almost like kind of out of nowhere, somebody who expresses themselves the way that you really like are attracted to, like, oh, they're expressing themselves the way that it's like you've been looking for the expression. And a lot of people, it's like when you're dealing with people or I got a feeling it's almost like kind of hanging around people that party and stuff like that or something like that. It's like, okay, like they're expressive only at the party, but like in real life, they're really like, "Bleh," and then they wait for the weekend to go party. And then it's like, no, this person's like fun all the time, exciting all the time. I pulled that 8 of Wands in that Sun. Like, that's a lot of positive. And you pulled the soulmate card with that. Wow.
Yeah, but I also, for the sexy time card, this damn, like, you guys see me shuffling over here, right? Page of Wands again. Like, this dude just keeps coming. And that's literally now he's officially my fuckboy card. So you guys, you guys are out there playing the fields. Like, you're doing sexy time, having your fun, whatever. But just know there's potential for one, both of you, whatever, to fall into something.
I'm going to clarify one card to know if it's a fuckboy or if it's the soulmate. What's going to be the way to gauge that? 9 of Pentacles. I feel like the fuckboy or fuck girl that is not the soulmate is terribly try to be nice. Completely zero self-worth. Like completely like doesn't have a worthiness inside of them. And either if it's a fuck girl, she's like she can't be seen unless she looks a certain way, or he is like is like trying to look a certain way but really isn't, like I almost feel like the real person just knows, like they're comfortable in their skin. That's what it is. They're comfortable in their skin.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh my God, like I don't want you to see me like this. Because a twin energy or a soulmate energy is just comfortable. It's like not tripping.
Right. Well, I mean, the fuckboy energy doesn't have to worry about being comfortable because you don't even see them in the morning.
But that's how though, is like,
right.
Even though maybe it doesn't make it to the morning, they're going to show an uncomfortable in their skin before the morning.
Yeah.
And if that's the sexy time card too, they're not giving quality fucking fuckboy. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not fucking. There's no birds chirping for that one after that one. And the surrender card here. Whoa. This is a little bit of complicated energy. I feel like it's a little bit of a like it's gonna feel like whoa, and just like be like I ended up here. But make sure that you are ending up where it feels like it's a soulmate situation, opposed to like surrendering to, well, I just got screwed over.
Well, I think the surrender could be too is I think some Libras are really committed to being single right now, whether it's because they just got out of a relationship or, they just like being out there playing the field, and they really aren't expecting that Uranus coming in. They really aren't expecting to find anything serious because they're just out there playing. And then you might have to surrender to having actual emotions for someone.
The Hermit reversed came with that surrender. Get out of your little closet den.
Yeah.
For the ones holding the rules too much.
That's the second Hermit reverse too.
Go have fun. Might be circusy, but six houses come up a lot. Neptune, a reality check here with that Gemini. I think that reality check here is like the idea of something or someone and the reality are conflicting here. So it's like you're gonna have to really like be honest with yourself and be like, is this reality actually going somewhere wholesome and doing something, or is this just a stimulant that yes, that's what I was feeling of like the whole like uncomfortable in the skin of like, you know, it's like, oh, they look good when they're having this like little fun thing. And then their reality is like, you live in Venice in the tent, you know. It's like, it's like, oh yeah, take me back to your place. It's like, well, I got this issue. It's like, oh.
Or they have 20 roommates.
I don't know. I've never been through that one with girls, so. But I can imagine a girl wanting to go to a guy's place and like even just roommate, right? Like it's kind of like, I don't know, like, how you doing? I'm his roommate. Like, dude, I need to write a book for dudes. It's like, yo, dude, like you got a roommate, like. No chick's going to feel fully comfortable. She can't walk out naked into your living room and go to the kitchen and get water.
Yeah.
So you've already fucked yourself in a million different places. Mm-hmm. Like. And those and always, I don't know. I ended the roommate thing in 2010. So.
Well, best for last. Pisces.
And these last two decks here. Tattoo deck. All right, Pisces. Fishies. I want to hear all my fishes out there. It's summertime, or if you're in Australia, you know, and I just got to say for all those in Australia right now, I'm so sorry that you guys are going through like prison camp, and that I'm praying for you all, and that I know how strong you all are out there and how much truthers are out there in Australia, and that I know that you all make it through this by showing the light, and that I've met so many Australians right now that are really just so good with truth and really pushing it, and I just want to let you all know that I'm thinking about you during this winter and your continent lock. But fishes, get up and jump in the sea and then back in. You got to breathe. You pull the 10 of Pentacles upright. That's awesome. I love that card. 9 of Wands is your challenge upright. And then you did get the Justice card reversed. Justice has been coming up a lot too. Pisces. I always look at the 10 of Pentacles. I love that card. I love the especially just, you know, Rider-Waite. I just love the building of something that just brings so many good energies around. It's the whole family, the dog, everything. It's just like, it's a beautiful foundational thing. And I think that's important for you to pay attention to right now is like, where's the foundation at? But it's weird that there is either hesitation or pay attention to where you're leaping into. Because if you're going to find, I don't know, Pisces, that Justice reversed here has got to look at like, I don't know. I think you're going to pull cards that are going to help us understand wherever this injustice is, that you don't want to build a foundation somewhere that's out of alignment, and you want to make sure where you're jumping into, but you also don't want to be hesitant. I feel like you could be looking at things improperly when really there's nothing wrong, like self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you really do have a passionate new start, Pisces, and I think that, you know, I think these are beautiful cards. You have the 10 of coins, you got the Queen of coins, the Queen of Pentacles. I think this is, even though this is like a passionate, fiery new beginning, it's got a very grounded approach to it. You know, so I think there's like a really nice combination of both like fire and earth. So it's like passionate but grounded. And
I feel that it's like, I think you're right. I think it's like the past is over. I feel like Pisces have got over a lot of shitty situations, but not bringing back and justifying or bringing an unfair judgment of people that you won't jump towards because of some piece of shit in the past. That's what I'm feeling, because you want to build foundations, and you don't want to build foundations off trauma or emotional past issues.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, chill out on the checklist. You know, I think when we go through certain things and we've had someone, you know, we've all dated someone shitty, you know what I mean? So when that happens, we're like, our red flags, even the most minor red flags, you know, we're like, oh, nope, they did this. Nope, they didn't graduate with this degree. Nope. Like, you know, and your checklist and your things they have to have and the things they cannot do become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, where you could actually be really like, you know, I've heard someone say, oh, well, and it was actually a Pisces, so that's why I'm using it. Like, nope, they have to have an MBA, a master's degree in business. And it's like, right, but some of the richest men in the world didn't even graduate college. Like, why?
I broke up with my deepest Pisces relationship of all time, because when my job, I lost my job in 2008 and the car economy crashed. She said I had to have a job with a 401k to stay with her.
I remember this story.
So
yeah,
I remember I was like, what? And like, Pisces are so not that way, but then out of nowhere, it's like one little like, whoa, because the Virgo is their 7th house. It's very interesting.
If they have a bad experience, that can stick with them, because Pisces are emotional beings. If something, you know, the you know, person that I was just speaking about, she had a guy, she dated him for a really long time. He kept talking about getting a job, and he just like didn't get a job. And she supported him for years when he talked about getting a job. And then she finally realized like,
wow,
he wasn't motivated enough. So it's really, instead of creating all these checklists and all these rules, it's going, okay, is he actually, or is she actually ambitious enough? Because they may not have a job right now. We just went through a whole pandemic, right? We just went through all this crazy crap. A lot of people lost their job. They might not have exactly what's on your checklist right now, but do they have the ambition to get the job done? And that's what you want to be checking, and not necessarily the exact thing on your checklist.
And maybe you showing up with your love is the fire, opposed to that gets them that little edge. Like, I can tell you that, especially as a man, a beautiful, loving relationship with a woman that you want to be with can get you into gear real quick without them having to be checklisty. So, you know, that Knight of Wands there in your challenge zone is almost like, I felt like, why are you holding back based off maybe a prejudgment? Pull your...
Yeah, it's not going to be, if you have all the prejudgments, it's not going to be natural or organic. And it needs to be, you want it to be natural and organic, but it can't be as long as you have all of these restrictions and all of these things that it has to be first.
And it taking it for what it is naturally at the moment and embracing that, I think, is important. What?
Yeah. So
let's just throw it down. You got...
Go the distance.
Oh, wow. And I got the Venus love card with that.
If you can ease up a little bit on some of those restrictions and work through some of that hurt and disappointment from the past, because we have to let go of the disappointment, because we can't bring that disappointment, carry that disappointment onto the next person and assume that they're going to do it too, because all that's going to be is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I want to get clarity and then go to the distance and love. Knight of Cups reversed. So it's like, not only is that Knight of Wands showing up as a challenge, but that Knight of Cups reversed is stuck emotionally. Like, I don't know what to do. And I think that this is where it's like, don't you want to build something beautiful and great and beautiful and happy and amazing? Like move into the emotions. Yes, the Knights have shields on, but I always love this card because what it says, it just straight up says like, I'm back, bitches. And this is reversed. It's like, you're afraid to come back into this whole go the distance of love. Like, I'm back. Fuck yeah. It's like kind of like, oh, I don't know. It's like, why are you registering that? Probably from the past, or why are you, it might not even be the past, or why are you just, there's some issue of you not wanting to, like, it's just fear. It's fear-based stuff.
And even the sexy time card was the 4 of Cups. Like, literally
missing out.
You don't even want what people are offering you. You're just like,
it's like, and they're willing to go all out and give you everything.
Yeah. Go the distance.
Whoa. Oh man. Well, I don't know, whatever you associate yourself with, but you could be getting the whole thing. You got the empowerment card. I mean, fuck. It's pretty clear. Like, this is a place of empowerment for you, and a place of, and it's like, it's kind of sad to see that Four of Cups reversed. Kind of like, I don't really know if I want it. And that Knight of Cups reversed, but maybe this is a moment where you had to go through that. Because if Annie and I are willing to like give you the benefit of the doubt, why don't you give this the benefit of the doubt and empower and see if the empowerment's there, opposed to just being like, no, like. And I feel like that I'm going to pull that Justice reverse. Why? Yeah, Knight of Wands. Again. There's so much around like an incoherent labeling Cancer culture on this that's blocking the leap towards the courage of love. And maybe it's just your insecurities of the empowerment that it brings. Like, maybe you're used to it always being disempowering, and you're kind of like afraid of what power would really feel like of love. Like, power of love.
You also need to empower yourself to do the inner work, because I feel like there's a lot of inner work with all that, the fear and the, past disappointments, whatever. Could be something from childhood. There's a lot of inner work that's not being done. So then it gets projected onto the next partner. And it's actually keeping you from going the distance with someone.
Well, I pulled a shadow, and it's fated to suffer. So it's like, there you are. You just think that it's just like, but that the shadow is that you're the one creating the suffering from it. And fear-based, that apple's going to turn bad. Jupiter in Cancer in the 10th. I mean, this is learning to actually be more adult, and by actually allowing yourself to feel more. I think it's interesting. That's Jupiter exalted, but in the 10th, which is a little funky, because it's like the only way right now for your path forward in life is not about career or business or like any of that. This is about building your emotional foundation that's going to beautify and get you to wherever goal you want in your life. Instead of looking at this as goal-based or list-based or what road is this taking me down, it's like, why don't you go to the emotional route first and see wherever it will grow? Maybe it'll grow like the big forests do here on the Pacific coast in the redwoods. The biggest trees in the world you would never suspect would just be right on the ocean. You'd think they're way up high in the mountains. It's like, no, the tree line ends there and the oxygen dies. I think that maybe this is about you. Stop reaching for this idea of emotional things that's a belief system that's not actually looking at the root. You keep looking at like this other place, this like, I always call it the fake book in the sky of love that is like what you should be doing. And after the first date, you must do this. And the third date, you must do that. Like, it's kind of like, where's that written? Like, it's like, I think this is you getting out of that and just following your emotions and not being afraid of them and learning to take the risk of actually, which is not a risk, but it's like you getting over the fears is a risk to just feel.
Yeah, I mean, a couple times tonight we've pulled the card about like being the misfit, not playing by the rules. Like, we didn't necessarily pull it for your spread,
Right.
but it still applies, Like, this is a time of a lot of Uranus energy. Like, Uranus does not play by anyone's rules.
No.
It literally does the opposite. So,
No.
it's take your rule book, and I'm guilty of that too. I've totally had a rule book. They have to, they have to ask me. I cannot ask them. They have to court me like that, I'm the feminine energy, and I do believe those things, but I can be flexible with some of those things, and that's the thing. You are a fish. You can move, you flow downstream. Don't be swimming upstream all the damn time.
Yeah. And I just want to say, because we talked so much about an injustice you might be giving on people, Pisces, but this also, you have to flip all this and be like, is somebody not doing you justice at all and not really able to build anything and is not leaping towards you? And, you know, like, empower yourself and make yourself available for the love to go the distance instead of staying where there's no love that's going any distance. So I had to bring that up because you are a dualistic sign. Well, sitting next to a Scorpio, and the last one here is Scorpio.
Finally, yes.
Scorpios are the ones getting smacked by all the Leo, the Taurus, and the Aquarius energy.
But that's all right.
But that's all right, because if anybody can handle it, Scorpios can, because it's all about like this transformational process we're all going through love, through the physical realities that we want to have in our lives, and also the deeper connection to the world. So it's like, it's a transformational process.
Bring it on, baby.
All right, let's see what's going on.
Rise up
here.
like the phoenix.
It's, Scorpios, trying to think any famous Scorpios lately, but media is kind of different now.
I really don't know why Winona Ryder just popped into my head.
I don't know why it was Jimmy Kimmel for me. I'm like, okay.
Lisa Bonet, Sierra, Drake. They're all October Scorpios.
That's true. First card Scorpio you got here is the Two of Pentacles in reversed. You did get the Seven of Cups as the challenge, and you did get the Hierophant overall spiritually upright. I always look at that Two of Pentacles as just like juggling two different places, but it's in reverse. I think you're over the juggle, and maybe that you are coming to the place where you're over the juggle of like, it's land and sea. Like, should I be in the land? Should I be on the sea? Should I, it's also like trying to find that perfect harmony. It kind of reminds me of the yin and yang, and it's the energy that keeps them bonded and together, like the same way that the land and sea are separate yet together. But it almost, for me, with that Seven of Cups and that Hierophant, it's almost like your dream of where things really want to go, especially because it is a traditional card, the Hierophant, like the real traditional, powerful, relationship life. It's possible. Don't give up on that. Maybe stop. I think you are stopping to juggle so many things and kind of settling into that it's all possible instead of feeling like it's not. Or maybe the Seven of Cups is so many different prizes. You got to pick a prize. What is the ultimate prize that you want to walk with the Pope to commitment to? And so it's like not juggling around so many different ideas of things.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
Absolutely, because I think we love this idea of tradition, but I think we want to create our own tradition. I think a lot of people are in a sense of wanting to create their own idea of tradition, but you still love traditional marriage and traditional this and that and what society says you should have. But it's like, how do you make it your own? And am I going to lose my independence and my freedom if I go into that traditional sense of partnership, relationship, even though it is something that I value? And I think it is kind of, we got the Moon, the Three of Wands, and the Empress. The Empress wants to keep coming out because I think people are just in like a very creative space. I think people in the last year have shifted and changed how they look at things, how they look at work, family, relationships, love, and people aren't really willing to settle right now. So the Moon, there's still kind of a lot of things that are a little bit mysterious and up in the air, but we know we're moving to a better place and a place where we're creating the life that we want. So, I mean, it's not all bad, but it's definitely,
I think it's removing separatism and coming into whole with that Seven of Cups, which is like a bunch of separate gifts and prizes.
Yeah.
And the challenge is like, how do I bring all these things I want into one?
Yeah.
And it's not by juggling things anymore, by like, I always look at Two of Pentacles as like wish-washy, but when I see it reversed, I always am like, okay, you're over the wish-washy, but at the same time, you gotta like look at that seven of cups and be like, it's not a pipe dream for what you want, but you have to walk into the dream and believe in the dream and hold that tradition of that belief that it's possible. And maybe the mystery is how that's going to come together. But that Three of Wands is definitely like, look at, there is the ship coming in. The doors are opening.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely better than last week's mess. I mean, we're slowly starting to come into the light a little more and get out of what that was, whatever that was. And hopefully this Cancer new moon, you know, with that moon card, it'll kind of hopefully start to kind of guide us in the right direction. It's, you know, Cancer is emotions. I think one thing about Scorpios is we do tend to be guarded with our emotions. We like to keep it mysterious and like the moon and all of that, where, you know, we don't get as vulnerable and don't share as much as we need to. But
well, there's always a little scorpion coming out of the water with the moon, full moon card. You know what I mean? Because like you guys are attractors, so you like the energy of attracting it, not having to go after it.
Absolutely. And then I actually pulled 2 cards with this one. Reason, listen to advice, think clearly, intellect. Like what is your reason for wanting a relationship? You know, what are you looking to get out of a relationship? And then transmission, spreading influence, conditions. And to me, I kind of like those cards together because my reason for partnership is to, you know, like I said, my love language is active service. I think we should make each other better. So the reason is to spread influence on each other, grow with each other, teach each other things like that. It is a scary idea, you know what I mean? Sometimes to really partner with another person, it can be scary. But, you know, I think to get to that place of vulnerability where you can create with another person, that's the ideal.
Yeah, why did you pull those two? Three of Swords reversed. I feel like it's not being afraid of being heartbroken as a reason. And also, because that Seven of Cups is there, this idea of this transmission is not something to be afraid of. I almost feel like it's the only way to fuse all those prizes and all those things into oneness. It's the sacredness of oneness that Scorpio really wants. And that's where this has been, that I think the heartbreak's over, or whatever just was plaguing it is over. The Astro is the Aquarius card, which is that fusing I'm talking about, that interconnected to all things. And it is in the emotional house for Scorpio. So it's an interesting, like, having the moon card, having them in the emotions, but there's an automatic knowing and seeing it all come together. Like with that Seven of Cups, it's like, no, you see it come together. Don't deny it. The challenge is like, oh, no, I don't know. I can't have all those prizes. It's like, no, all those things can come together. The Aquarian energy is the binding of all the cords that connect them all together. And that Three of Swords, if there's a negative connotation to it, then it won't connect, right? Like,
yeah. And then no place like home. You know, you connect all those things and you can.
Is that like a ship?
It's like a birdhouse. It's like a little birdhouse with a star in it shining out.
Interesting.
I know. I mean, the thing is, you can create the home and the life that you want with another person. You know what I mean? You can receive all those gifts, all those blessings. You are deserving of it, you know, and it does seem scary sometimes, but also the meaning of that card, no place like home, is that the real home is always within you, and it's okay to open up that home for another person. It is okay to be vulnerable.
And that Hierophant is standing up there in the corner with all that magical, godly light, you know, that's like divine is shining on things. But there also has to be, if all that stuff's going to work out, that's a lot to work out. It's like, that has to be there. You know, that's the spiritual advice. That's the outcome. Like, there has to be, like, you can try to make each other better or, you know, and have good reasons for that. But if there's not a reason above just the transmission of a goal of trying to be better, like there has to be like a higher committed goal that's a divine goal. The Ganesha that came with this is splendor, which is a life of splendor and living your life where it's just joyous everywhere and it's exciting and it's fun. So especially because you got that Aquarius card, it's almost like the rebel of having fun again instead of like, because I think that, you know, the whole idea of like home sweet home is the excitement to come home, right? Like, so there has to be an excitement. There has to be something here that's a different way of doing things. That Aquarius card came up. I want to pull a card with that Hierophant that connects. I'm going to bridge those. And it's the High Priestess reversed, which is almost like letting go of stories that really are not divinely guided anymore. Like the Hierophant with the High Priestess reversed, it's like, oh, okay, like I get the traditional element, but like, wait, hold on, maybe I know better really quick. It's like, or second guessing your judgment spiritually that's coming to you or the calling that's coming to you. But the splendor is definitely surrounding this. And especially that jewel in the middle, that Seven of Cups, like that's what's all trying to bind. And the only way that things can bind is through spirit. And I feel like that Aquarius is like the physical bind and the electric bind. But then there's this having to trust your instincts instead of deny them about what is possible to make it happen. Like, I just feel like there's something self-doubt wise that Spirit saying, what the fuck? Why are you doubting? Like, right. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which would go with that Three of Swords reversed. I think that goes with the Three of Swords reversed. Like, not bringing that, oh, no, this is going to go bad.
Yeah.
Scorpios can do that really quick. Like, this is going to go bad.
Yeah. And I mean, when we think something's going to go bad, like there is a tendency, because when we're in something, we're in it. We're very loyal. We want to stay in it. We're fixed. We don't like change. I don't like change. I've had the same hairdresser for 7 damn years. You know what I mean? But if I know something's going to go bad from the jump, I'm out of there. Like, I am not staying. I am not engaging, not getting involved, all of that. So yeah, it's like,
I think the Aquarius is like looking at every angle before that's, you know, done. Because Aquarius is cold as ice and can disconnect just as much as it can connect. But it only does that once it's actually Aquarius. I will give Aquarian some credit. You guys piece the fuck out once it's like, oh, okay, every light is red. You know what I mean? On the whole switchboard. Okay, I'm out. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, maybe one light's out, but it doesn't mean that the whole board's out yet. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where it's like, do I just need to turn the switch back on? Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I popped the fuse today because I tried to put the AC on in this thing, and then I came out here. I'm like, oh, the computer's off. I popped the fucking fuse. Okay, it didn't mean the end of the world. Interesting fucking times. And Scorpio, you all did get Aquarius, 11th house, Ceres. Wow, that's interesting. That's all about a new way of life, a new world, and trying to realize that your nurturing element that you're looking for is by trying completely new radical things and places and people and a new world. Like, it has, like, Ceres is where we can be our best at nurturing and where we can be our best at caring. And this is where you can do that by trying a new direction.
Yeah. Absolutely. And our sexy time card was the Knight of Pentacles. So that's, I'm not mad at that. We got a knight coming in, come riding in on the horse.
Yeah. And at least Pentacles, it's like much more grounded, connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little slower moving. So, you know, to try not to lose patience, but yeah. Which
isn't necessarily bad, right? Like, sometimes that's what we want to build deeper connection. Sometimes wham, bam, thank you, ma'am is just all that is, which that could be fun. But Knight of Pentacles definitely has much more of a deeper touch, and especially because there's this Taurus element here in the square. I think it's important for everybody, no matter if it's Scorpio or anybody right now, to realize that when you mix Leo and Taurus and Aquarius, you know, it's about deep connection that actually is real. this idea that a lot of people right now, because of the Scorpio energy being squared and opposed, is like, you can't hide. You have to, with Taurus, make it so.
Yeah.
And it's like, everything has to be come into the physical and has to be in the bonding and the connecting energy. And that's what Scorpio wants anyway. But when we all are staying too deep inside, or we're too afraid or fearful, then we don't get anything. We don't get the love. We don't get the Taurus. We don't get the Aquarian. We don't get the connection. We don't get the world we want. We don't get the better life that's physically trying to happen with Uranus and Taurus. I was going to say this because last night I watched Enemy at the Gates. I like that movie with Jude Law. It's just about World War II and the Russians and him being a sniper. And it made me think of Uranus and Taurus during World War II, because it was like, what was the most valuable thing? Were people standing around, whether they were in a concentration camp, whether they were in the war, was the bonds they had with people around them. By a fire, by just being in a weird situation in a weird country, like just like posted up in some weird wall of a broken out Polish, like, or Stalingrad, like a crazy like warehouse just blown up. Mm. Like, we're in that kind of world right now where it's like the connection energy to people is the greatest gold we have. And so it's like, if you're going to deny yourself of that or be afraid of that in life, then you're not going to get anything, and you're going to feel very alone. And with the way that the world's doing these crazy, weird ways of trying to separate people, as they've done before in history, you have to not be afraid and go into connection, because that's where you're going to thrive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Connection is even, connection is our source of health. Hugging makes your immune system increase, like everything there is, and I told David even, on a text, like, I had never been lonely before in LA. There are so many people, so many things to do. And then all of a sudden this past year, it really hit me when I went home to New York. So I'm not from here. And I was just surrounded by family for the first time in a year. And I was like, whoa, I was lonely back there. I had never admitted it to myself. I had never said it out loud. I had never even realized it, because I was just so busy, like, immersing myself in work that you don't think of it. So when you finally go connect with your people, your family, your loved ones, and you go, oh man, I haven't had that in a year. That's not okay. That's not healthy, right? So then it makes you realize, you do need that in your life to enjoy, to, obviously, we have friends around here, but they have lives too.
Everybody has,
you know what I mean?
Everybody has their own worlds.
Yeah.
That Saturn in Aquarius, though, is that social interaction wherever it comes, whether it's family, friends, lovers, a dog, a cat, the person at the store, wherever. There's that challenge of because Aquarius is fixed too and stubborn, but there's an element of where it's like, well, let me at least say fuck it and see what's there. Mm-hmm. The fucking energy is way more potent now and positive, but the negative of it, because I'm just going to go there, like the idea of experimentation that takes it without the bounds of it being good for humanity, is where Saturn has to put its line. So most people experience it, not the opposite. They're not psychopaths trying to do human experiments on people, fucking and being like, oh yeah, like nobody's allowed to ask anything about that. But you're in the opposite place as a human being right now, where you're limiting yourself from expressing connection. That's where people have to get over. And it can feel very cold, but Taurus reminds you that, and Uranus and Taurus reminds you that there is new roads to get the physical life you want. If you try to do the same thing over and over again, you are insane. Mm-hmm. So, and I think Leo's the one that's coming through come on, everybody.
Yeah, we pulled, how many times did we pull that Ace of Wands? Passionate
and
new
Page of
beginnings
Wands
for everybody, like Oprah.
There was a lot of wands. There was a lot of that. But overall, everyone, just ride or die. That's what it really is. With Cancer, though, it's I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but this is the first time we're going to get a Cancer new moon here in years without it being an eclipse, where it's actually going to be restorative emotionally. That has been through the biggest drain emotionally of like wringing out and then it getting dusty and then it going into a dust bowl and actually getting your first sip of everlasting water. So I know that might sound crazy, but that's you can feel it if you sense it, that you've come to the bottom of the barrel. So I'd love to thank, of course, you for coming on, Annie. If you don't know, follow Annie Parker. She's Miss MS Annie Parker on Instagram, or you can find her online. What's your website again?
Ms. Annie Parker.
Miss Annie Parker.
I keep it consistent.
So it's fully consistent. You can find her. I'll put the information below after we're done with this video, of course. And thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. I mean, I've, enjoyed this show for years, and I love that I got to be part of it. Being on this side of it is such a unique experience. It's an experiment. And it is because I'm really, like I said, this is me stepping all the way out of the spiritual little, private area that
you've been in the clubhouse.
Been in the clubhouse, yeah.
Which is not bad. I love clubhouse.
But
it's kind of funny. Clubhouse is like a clubhouse, right? It's like, oh, I'm at the clubhouse. I got my membership.
We're stepping out.
But you just joined. You just showed up to this wide. I don't know. It's very. Here we go.
That was fun. It was perfect. I think it flowed. I mean, honestly, half the time when I was shuffling, the card that came out was what you were already speaking about.
I was blowing my mind. I was like, whoa.
It was amazing.
But like what your cards too, like I threw out like okay, there's a scenario here, but we need to get to it. You're the one who gave us the guts. So it was super awesome. And definitely, if you want to get readings from her or anything like that, check out her website. And make sure that you check her out also on her socials. And she's awesome on Clubhouse. Make sure you follow her on Clubhouse.
Thank you. Well, thank you. It's so fun being here with you.
Thanks, everybody, for being on High Vibe. Truly appreciate it. Make sure that you check us out. We got so much going on over here. It's crazy. Just join by going to any apps down below or highvibe.tv. We will see you for the next video. Make sure that you share this. Push that like button. Subscribe. And I will see you on the next Deep Love Tarot.